Alright everybody, what's up? We're back with Diamond 2 today, and we're going to be kicking off with a Zerg vs Ultraman, who apparently has just made it to Diamond 2 in the last week or so. Apparently had signed up to play me last week in Diamond 3, and then didn't get his chance as I finished the show and he was next on the list. But he trained hard and actually got promoted in the last week from Diamond 3 to Diamond 2. Who knows, maybe we'll get to play Ultraman again next week in Diamond 1. Let's be real, guys. Promoting that far would be pretty hard. That would be pretty difficult. All right, so what are we going to do, guys? We're playing ZvZ. We're still doing the same build. What's different in Diamond 2? Honestly, it's all about the details. We're essentially going to try and do a lot more Ling Bane. We are going to be adding more units in the ZVTs and ZVPs later today to the Ling Bane. So we're going to be, learning Hydras and Infestors a little bit. Infestors versus Terran, Hydras versus Protoss. I mean, what else? We're scouting a lot more as well in Diamond 2. There's a lot of really just good things kind of going on. Now that was meant to be a 17 pool. Whoops. So I did build my pool one supply later than I intended. My drone scout is going to see, oh, yep, he's gone hatchery first. And that, of course, will just come back to mine. Now, of course, with your two overlords, you want one on either side. So notice I've got them on control group. So that's on number 2, right? And the other one's on number 7. So number 7's clicked here and number 2 there. So we've got that full bit of vision outside the enemy base. Next overlord goes outside our base. And let's make sure we set up those camera locations, guys. 3rd base, 4th base, and 5th base down the bottom. Beautiful. We're also going to be doing a lot of replay analysis today, where we kind of touched on it last week, but I don't think I got to cover it nearly as well as I would have liked to. We're just going to wait for that to finish and then build both queens at once. I'll build 4 lings, guys, and we'll use those just to go have a little poke / scout and just see what we're up against, all right? So we're going to change the rally points to the natural now, as that's finished. What else are we doing today? Yeah, honestly, there's going to be a lot of coming up with set plays for situations. So there's going to be a lot of flexible analysis. Extra overlord to the middle, guys. On 28 supply, remember. Flexible analysis of finding, oh, in this situation, I don't know what to do. In this situation, I was slow and froze up. In this situation, all that sort of stuff is going to be huge. All right, inject. We already have a 3rd queen on the way. And remember, guys, when we get to 36 supply, what do? We build double gas. We change the rally point back here. And we build a spine crawler as well. Oh, so some Zerglings are going to stop us. We're just going to check, is there a 3rd base? And then we're going to try to run into that base, okay? There is a 3rd. Let's queue around behind the mineral line and then into the main base. Don't even look at it. Now, this is not something you necessarily have to do, but it's nice to. So, okay, cool. We see a Baneling nest. We see a 3rd base. Nothing wild. Inject. Hold down the drone key. We're going to need a bunch of overlords, guys.
Forces are under attack.
And we're just doing completely standard stuff. Even if we didn't have any scouting info, wouldn't change anything. 3 minutes 30. You guys know what to do. Grab 3 drones. We go Evo, Roach Warren, Evo. Let's move that spine crawler forward a little bit. We still want to have space to wall off with Evo chambers. And oh my god, I see red dots on the minimap, guys. All right, okay. So let's get ready to wall off completely. I think we're going to keep droning here. But actually, that is a lot of Ling Bane coming. All right, I think we'll build another spine crawler. Remember last week we decided don't overreact. In the scenario of a big attack, just build 1 extra spine and focus on the Evo wall off. Otherwise, keep building overlords and drones. So an overlord, drone. Now, there's still lings coming out, or at least there was. So we're not going to cancel that Evo, even though it's tempting. And then as I say it, I cancel it. Let's build 2 more queens. And okay, there is more lings coming. So we will wall off, guys. And we'll let that Evo finish this time. So what do you do? Now, if you know they keep committing, obviously you do start building roaches. We can inject, come down to the natural. And notice, they're going to kill the roach warren. So bring drones over ahead of time. Whenever they're committing to bust you like this. Oops, that's not right. And just be ready here. All right, so what are we doing, guys? We're going to make a lair. And look how saturated this is. Oversaturated even. So let's get lair and 3rd gas. Inject. And we do need drones just for that gas, and that's it. Beautiful. All right, guys, we've defended. Let's build some Evo overlords and do nothing but mass roach and +1 range. So which Evo? We probably want to keep that Evo alive. because we'll probably kill this Evo, so we have a nice little choke point there later on. Put this guy back to mining. We have enough roaches that there's no way it's worth it for him to commit to the wall. We're at 42 drones, 1 drone extra, and we're just going to build up to that attack that we like to do pretty much every game. Inject, inject, hold down that roach key, and then overlords. And all our overlords are going to be rallied to the back of our base. So we're feeling pretty good right now. Lair's pretty late, so I am going to kill... That's a lot of lings. Right now, I don't have enough roaches to kill the lings. The moment I feel I can kill these lings, we'll kill our Evo chamber. So now these roaches popping out, we can kill that, and we can take a third base, right? Let's start roach speed, most importantly, because our lair just finished. And let's move out here. Fight them off. Inject, inject. Roaches. This queen can become the creek queen. I thought we'd A-move them further out. We can't be giving you a free third base. No way. Now, it looks like there's an Overseer, so there could be mutas on the way. So I'm going to Overseer scout just to check. But, of course, all I'm doing is making roaches. And when roach speed's a little bit closer to finish, we'll go for that attack anyway, right? Now, notice that's an Overseer flying into my base, guys. So when they do this, good thing you can do is just move your queen over, try to get some damage on it, and then just queue that back to inject. If you want, click that changeling, and we're good. Inject, inject. More roaches. Roach speed's almost done. Now, we're worried about mutas. Why are we worried about mutas, guys? Because that's what people do in these scenarios. So we're going to go across the map and just fight those front on. We're going to split some of these roaches. We've got lots of roaches popping, so it's totally fine. Notice I'm going to hold position that queen. And we're just going to fight, even without drones. The drones can go back to mining now, because they already took a bunch of damage. For some reason these roaches aren't fighting, guys. I'm still doing nothing but building roaches, because this is essentially an all-in. And he's going to have mutas out, and they will eventually kill every roach. The challenge here is to kill enough of his stuff that it doesn't matter. So we're just going to move on in. So as long as we kill these spines pretty quickly and start killing these drones, we should be good. So notice we're just going to keep moving these units in. Now that base is almost dead, so those guys can go in there. We're still doing nothing but building roaches. These guys are going to go there. These guys will move commanding in the main, so we'll go up there, just manually controlling everything, okay? These roaches go down into that third base. These roaches, we're just going to click in the natural mineral line. Just making sure there's no safe points. There's nowhere that's a safe haven. Now we could focus the spire. I'm actually not going to bother. I'm just going to focus the mining bases. And we're just scrolling between these bases, guys. Still building nothing but roaches. Why? Because it's simple. Okay, so these guys can come down here. Click on the hatchery. Use shift there. Box, shift, box, shift, box. Click on the hatchery. Box, click on the hatchery. Inject, inject. Alright guys, let's build some drones. My drone count absolutely sucks. So we're going to rally back to the main because that's undersaturated. We're going to build one spore out there. And as you can see, my opponent has no mining bases. So he's going to say GG. Now, what if he comes across the map with mutas? Why aren't you building spores or queens? Because in this scenario, I don't need to. If his mutas come across the map, what am I going to do with it? My rally? My rally, I was already about to do this. I was going to send it there, and I was going to grab half of it and send it there. And what you do, right? So you've got main army, A move top, and then you go Alt 8, Alt 7 down the bottom. And if the mutas come to the top, these guys can just run home. And then these guys run in. And he has no economy, so it's a base trace. Basically, his mutas are going to have to run in circles following your roaches. And then, now that I've crippled him, what do I do behind it? So I'll show you guys what we would do if maybe I didn't do quite as much damage, just to show you guys. Inject, inject. Get the other queen, Latifah over there. Inject. We can basically rally to the third, but we can also just get a bunch of these drones here, a bunch of those drones there, and obviously we'd build a few spores eventually when we have to. But the earlier you build the spores, the more you handicap your economy. That's a big problem because every spore you build, there's a few less drones you can build. We would also build 3 queens. So I would say the queens are the most important thing, and I would actually put all of my queens on the Freddie Mercury key, so that if the mutas commit in, I can quickly pull all my injecting queens without having to go around and select them. So we'd be like, inject, 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 but then the mutas come in and we'd be like, whoa, quick, bring all the queens, you know, and we've got more queens on the way, and that would be fine. And we drone up 3 bases, and then, depending, there's a few options to kill mutas. You can go Hydras. We could go, okay, get +2 range armor is really important against mutas and lings. And we can be like, okay, I'll do a 2-1 Roach Hydra timing. That's probably the easiest solution. Problem, if they have a big enough economy, they can get speed banes, which annihilate. They annihilate Hydras really hard. So this is always kind of like a very timing attack where you're like, I'm getting in there when they just have mutas and they're in the midst of droning up. We're just going to kill them with Roach Hydra. That's what, so Roach Hydra is a bit of desperation to it, right? Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it works in a narrow window of time and it falls flat after that window of time, okay? So you might even just go move speed first before groove spines, and then just get like, you know, 15 Hydras out, nothing but roaches behind it, and then just go for one big push timing with, say, 2-1 upgrades off 3 base workers. Alternatively, and you'll see pros do this a lot, what do? They go for the 4th base. So what they would be connecting their bases with creep. They would build a few more of these spores, no doubt, and they'd kind of move the spores, right, over towards that base. They'd probably already have creep spread over there, or an overlord. You can grab an overlord and say, hey, overlord, go over there and poo creep, and then already have a spore crawler run over right next to the hatchery. And then they go infestation pit, lurker den, and they get lurkers for the ground units and vipers to deal with, of course. Not just ground units, but especially parasitic bomb for the mutas. So that's kind of the way to do it. And that works really, really nicely. Now let's go back, and what a stark contrast this is from last week. When I got back from vacation, I was a little rusty and I was over scouting. You guys remember, it was the 2nd game, I believe, of Bronze to GM and Diamond 3. And I was like, is he committing to Ling Bane? What's he doing? And it's like, dude, 3 minutes 30 is when you wall off every game anyway. And actually, there was a good question, which, did I not answer that? Oh, here it is. I thought this was just, okay, here we go. Pig, enjoyed your holiday. Can you explain the reasoning for the ZvZ wall off at 3:30? It's simply the time higher ladder players have their baneling nest finished. And this is great to be in the video. So this is good. 3:30 is around when Ling Speed finishes off hatch first. So that's when all types of fast aggression can hit off a hatch first build. This also will often be fast enough to stop, say, a 17 gas, 17 pool Ling Flood. Though maybe needs to be, a few seconds, needs to be just a tiny bit faster if they execute well. Now, of course, 13 gas, 12 pool, really fast 1 base Ling Bane aggression, and the like can hit harder, can hit faster. But that's what other defensive tools are for, right? Like the queens, lings, and spines are for. So think of it, because this person was saying, look, in Golden Plat, my opponent's attacking way earlier, where I couldn't, at a time where either way before or later when I'd already have roaches. So I immediately climbed to Plat when I did the wall off before droning my 2nd base. So this person's saying basically they've got their hatchery finished, and the moment the hatchery's finished, they're just walling the base off, which is really, really terrible. So the reason why the walling off is terrible, the wall off should never get up before these faster timings. However, it's likely you played a lot of players who who were executing a bit slow, so that wall off got up and made defending quite easy for you. However, as you get higher, you'll have to defend those, those 1 base builds with the Spine Queen Ling defense, which I believe we've shown, right? In this Bronze to GM, right? If we go back up, dealing with Russia's 1 base plays, I think in Gold League, right? There was definitely a point early on where we were dealing with 13-12. Maybe in Platinum we dealt with one as well. Defending 1 base Ling Bane. We defended 1 base Ling Bane in our Platinum episode. And we talked about the standard response. So if you guys check the Platinum episode, if you're questioning, you're like, how do we do that? What do we do defending 1 base Ling Bane? Go check that out, okay? Make sure you do check that out. That's really useful. So the wall should never get up before this time. As you get high, you left with the Spine Queen Ling defense as shown in the Platinum episode. So essentially, this is why 330. It's a balance of you've got some drones, you're not building it so early that you're massively curtailing your economy, and you're not building it so late. So to summarize, it's not, you know, 330 stops all the half committed and 2 and 3 base rushes. It's also not so early that it's hurting our economy too bad. It's a nice middle ground. However, if I see Lings flooding out at, say, 3 minutes, and I can wall off in time, heck yeah, go for it. So there's always going to be an element of flexibility. So remember, 330 is a standard, it's a baseline, and we will adapt from there and see what goes on. Yeah, I guess building a roach run right off the first base is inefficient. I'd love to understand what I'm looking for with this wall timing and why does it fail for me. So that's it. Make sure you check your opponent's build whenever they hit you with fast aggression, so you understand the context of what just happened. Important. It's very important to recognize, oh, this is 12 pool versus, oh, this is just 6 Ling pressure off a 16 pool, right? Big differences, that sort of stuff. Good luck, have fun, mate. Crucial. Crucial, crucial. But yeah, this wall off was really big. So last week in the episode, what did I do? In this scenario when I was getting Ling flooded, I fumbled really hard. I fumbled really, really hard. Because what I did here was I was like, Evo, 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 spine, 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 spine. And obviously that cost me so many drones and minerals that it curtailed my lead. In this scenario, what did we learn last week? Just build a second spine crawler and just wall off with the extra Evos. And you can obviously bring the queen from the main down as well. Like, if I was still seeing more Ling Bane committing, I never would have canceled this Evo. Remember, I even said I wasn't going to cancel it. And then I was like, I'm going to be greedy and cancel it. I said I'm not going to cancel it. And then I canceled it, like, right after. And then I saw more Lings flooding out. So whenever you're in this situation, try to, number one, focus on the basics. Wall off your base, have the queen on hold position in the wall, build the extra spine. And then try to keep an eye on the mini-map. This area here and see if there's more units coming. If there's more units coming, just keep building extra layers of wall off ahead of time, especially if they're targeting the Roach Warren. The earlier you start building the Roach Warren, the better. And definitely building roaches is going to be very high priority as well, because these roaches also help you later on in the game. However, the moment you feel like this is easy, I'm not panicking, I'm in a good position, my wall is solid, build a round of drones, and then add the extra Evo chamber to secure the part of your wall if it's going down. Build another Overlord, build a few drones. So if you can macro while defending this, that's where you get crazy far ahead. Like in this game, I was up 7 to 10 workers this whole time, and I've already got roaches out, and of course I'm also, you know, ahead on the layer timing and that sort of stuff as well. Ultraman followed up pretty well though. I was impressed. The fact that Ultraman had like so many spines and a spire finished at the time they did, after committing so much to a big attack. I was actually very impressed in this game. So really well done by my opponent, guys. Really well done. What's better for climbing? At the end of the day, choosing what you find fun is always going to be the best for you in the long run, Jeffrey. In general, aggression will always help you climb earlier, easier. But I think as long as you're looking to critically focus on your skills, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to, like, just go with what inspires you, I would say, as always, with learning materials, and then go from there. Don't be like, I need to just stick to this, or I just need to stick to that, because StarCraft's all about mental flexibility at the end of the day anyway. And you can't just be like, I just copy this, me no think for myself, me no make any decisions. So I always say, like, the first thing in StarCraft is going, oh, that looks cool, that race looks cool, oh, Mutalisks look really cool, I want to play Mutas a lot. I'm going to be a very Mutalisk focused player. Like, as long as you follow the rule of cool, it's going to make a deep strategy game a little bit less scary, because you're boiling it down to like, hey, there's a cool goal that's not just like, oh, I need to improve at the fastest rate or this or that. And I think when you're obsessing over that stuff, it can be a problem. Alright guys, we're playing a ZvP. We're going to be introducing Hydralisks in this matchup, but not super early. Keep that in mind. So we're not like rushing Hydras. It's the same build. And this is something that's a bit different to my last Bronze to GM. I am trying to really stick to the same framework. A few things change, obviously. We're pulling off gas now. We're doing all this sort of stuff. But it's something that's going to help us a lot is just kind of saying, all right, we'll add Hydras in the mid game versus Protoss. It'll give us some ranged units so we're not just on Lingbane, which is obviously a composition which has some severe weaknesses in direct combat, though its base trade ability is absolutely amazing. And Hydras, I mean, we're not really going to be giving up that much of our base trade ability. That's still a good chance we'll get stuck into base trades pretty regularly. But overall, we should be good. So what did we scout, guys? Just a normal build. Looks like a gate expand. So Gateway, Gas, Nexus, Cybercore, second Gas, second Pylon. That's a standard Protoss opening. You don't necessarily need to know that, but it's always good to start familiarizing yourself just with what the standard openings are for each faction. And, you know, just not being as blind to what's happening for your opponents. Always good to play a little bit off race as well. Nothing wrong with just, you know, hop on for 5 or 10 games with another faction. And if you're not sure what to do with them, just think about what felt really unfair that someone did to you, and then try doing that yourself. Even if you don't know how to do it, just give it a go. Zealots are broken! They're so overpowered! And you can have a good time. Okay, so we've pulled off gas, started the Ling speed, guys. Now, very important to get rid of this probe. So we'll send out those 4 Zerglings. And we'll send a drone over to our 3rd base. We've got a 4th base there. Try to fit 5th base in the corner. Notice our Lings are just going to attack that probe. But we'll have to pull those back in a little bit since an Adept will no doubt come out. If they don't micro the probe too well, you might kill it. Inject Lizzie, inject Cersei. And add to hotkey, set the rally point. Latifah starts up. And bring these probes home. Looks like he did escape. Well done. So we're going to build another Overlord, put that here. This Overlord can go here, that Overlord there, and check it out, guys. As I said, got to pull those Lings home. Run past the Adept and follow the Shade. Alright, going to build another Overlord down the bottom side. And, oh, big mistake for MK lol, letting that Shade finish, guys. So that's awesome. Don't get distracted. Inject Lizzie. Inject Cersei. And what are we going to do? Click the main. Build 3 drones, click on the gas, then select the hatchery and build the rest of the drones. And 1 more Overlord on the top. Now, 3:30, so let's send the Overlord through for a sacrifice. And now that we're in Diamond 2, we might actually start scouting earlier than this in the near future. Let's also put our Ling Scouts out, guys. And I'll build 6 more Lings in case another Adept or something comes in, okay? Inject, inject. And Latifah goes over there, just building more drones. That's going to oversaturate our natural, guys. So let's change the rally point. Go gas, Baneling Nest. And that's an Oracle. So let's go Spore, Spore. And we're going to get this queen on our defense queen, this queen on our defense key, and this queen on our defense key. So we shifted 4, all of those. Now we can run the drones away. Shift click back to the minerals. And what are we doing, guys? We're going to build more queens after this, okay? Whew! But in the meantime, we're going to do an inject. So we've got 4 selected. Jump to the main, inject. Jump to the natural, inject. Jump to the 3rd, inject. I know you guys haven't seen that before. Freddy, Lizzie, Cersei, and Latifah are all going to get rebuilt. And these 3 queens, after they do that inject... Ooh, we don't have a spore there. Build a spore on the 3rd as well, guys. Let's keep building drones and Overlords right now. We can see our opponent's taking a 3rd base. We'll send our Overlord back through to try to see what their follow-up is. Totally fine if we don't see anything though. We'll spread a creep tumor. And remember, all these queens come back to the front now. So we can go creep tumor, go out to Tumor Island. And we can get these guys. We want about 4 of those guys. So we use shift box click to select all those. And what are we going to do? Inject, inject, inject. Hold that drone key down. Which is plenty. Build some Overlords. Okay, fantastic, guys. Now let's go Lair, double Evo chamber, shall we? What else are we missing, guys? You guys know what we're missing. All the macro hatcheries and all that good stuff. So we'll spread some creep while we're waiting. All these queens shift A move to the front. Our Overlord's getting attacked, so let's take a look. Robobane means either Disruptors or Colossus, which is very good. Colossus versus Lingbane. Definitely good versus Hydras as well. Looks like we forgot to change our rally point, which is why that was that. Inject, inject, inject. Let's go. What's that? Ooh, oracles. We'll just A-move our queens towards them and then look away, okay? Shift-click, shift 1. Grab these. Let's build a 4th and a 5th base. Build a few more drones there. Now, because we're up against a 3-base player, we're in a macro game. Yes, we're still building Zerglings and Banelings to be safe right now, but we need to think about the next step, which is going to be Hydras. So we're going to try to take a few more gases here, okay? A-move our queens there, and then just cancel it. If it's going to die, guys, we need to go do other things. We can't stare at that, okay? Let's go melee, carapace, Baneling Nest. Inject, inject, inject. And we're actually going to go up to 66 drones, guys, because I've got some Ling Bane out. We feel safe. It's a 3-base versus 3-base. We need to get 66 drones, okay? So what are we going to do? We're going to change the rally point there and that rally point there. We're going to take gases on the 3rd and the natural. And we're going to rebuild that 4th base. These queens here, A-move, shift, creep tumor, okay? If we just move command them, they won't defend themselves from these oracles that are being so annoying. Now we're at not enough workers yet, guys. You see we hovered over the top right, we're at 60. So we built drones, clicked on these gases. Build drones, click on the gas. Build drones, click on the gas. Now we should be good. Inject, inject, inject. Keep just A-moving my queens to wherever these bloody oracles are. And where's my Hydra Den? I forgot to build the Hydra Den. We should have built that when we started the gases, which means these Hydras are very, very late. So that's definitely a problem. But we've added all these to our hotkeys. And let's go back in our main. So we're A-moving our queens, our injecting queens, and we're doing that one-off queue up of the injects that I always talk about. Or are we? So annoying. All right, let's move the Spore Crawler out here, guys. Inject Lizzie, inject Cersei, inject Latifah. And that, we cancelled it. That's okay. We've got a base in the top. This is mostly for production anyway. And we're going to make move speed, then groove spines, okay? All right. So we're not actually adapting to my opponent's composition at all. We're making about 14 Hydras right now with our first set of gas. And then we're going to max on the Hydra Bane. Now let's keep spreading creep this game. Creep really helps with Hydra Bane, so we're going to go bottom to top. And these oracles have been a massive nuisance. So he's being a real dickhead. These guys are going to go into that main. Oh, okay. Get out of here, dude. All right, let's break these rocks to open this map up. And those queens are finally going to get that big stack of injects I was talking about in the main. Now, because we're going Hydras, guys, we're going to stop going Carapace. We're going to go +2 melee and +1 range after our 1-1 here. Oh my god, just leave. What's wrong with you? I really chase him with these Hydras if we can. Yeah. There we go. Inject, inject, inject. A few more Hydras. But mostly we want Lings and Banes here, guys. And we've got to build more Overlords as we are supply blocked, okay? Now we're doing all this off 67 drones. Okay, let's send some Lings out. And we want to get a lot of Banelings. And the way you use a Hydra Bane army in this matchup is quite interesting. Because unlike ZvT, we're going to put out... What is this guy doing? He's got mass static defense. Colossus and mass Oracle? Okay, I'm very confused at what we're playing as. Inject, inject, inject. Let's go. Nothing but Zerglings, guys. A few more Overlords. And we're going to make as many of these into Banelings as possible, okay? So we're going to control click the Banelings. And we're actually going to put them on a separate army key. Because rather than doing multi-prong, we're going to do a one-directional engagement. Now, if I split my army in 2 halves, we don't want to do this. But in this scenario, I think it's okay. Now, we should have had an Overseer with our army a lot earlier. Because he very well could have been watching us with observers this whole time. I would have no idea whatsoever. Let's take some more gases behind this. And we will drone these gases. And we're going to build just 8 more drones. You see 1 line of drones behind this. All right, guys, let's go. So we're going to go for a big attack here. We're going to spread the units out a little bit before we go in. Groove Spine's never made. That's all right. We're just A-moving and moving the Banes in, okay? Move in, move in. Click on the battery in the middle of it all. I don't know what his army is like. All right. So we're going to try and pull away a little bit. And then we're going to try and spread our units out a bit. And now we A-move down there. And now we're going to just A-move everything towards him. And our Banelings are trying to move into the middle of the Colossus. Which they're doing an okay job of distracting the Colossus, but they're not really killing much else. So we're going to try and kill these units over here. He's got a lot of Colossus, guys. So we want to try and run away now, okay? We're going to run away, more Hydras, but more importantly, Mauling Bane. Because we kept our Hydras alive. If you can run away without most of your Hydras dying, huge, huge win. Let's get +2 range, +2 carapace. Inject, inject, inject. Now you're going to notice we've got a Q injects on these bases. You can also do that on the 4th. And if we have enough Banelings, we can always kill them, right? So that fight, chasing the Colossus like that, not very good. But luckily he wasn't defending the base. We already got a lot of damage on. We want to sandwich the army. So we're going to go for a more simple, rather than move commanding the Banelings on a control group, we're going to just have our army in 2 halves for the next fight. And this is, whenever you get to really big armies, this is usually what your MO should be. So we're maxing on Zerglings right now, guys. We're just going to tab, using my side mouse button is what I like to do to tab. And we're going to just make 1 billion Banelings here. All right, inject, inject, inject. Notice our natural's half saturated. So we box half those workers, send them out to the 5th base, take the gases there. Because we built those 8 extra drones, we're at 79 workers, which I guess I built a few more drones than I realized because I also built the drones for these gases. So I built 8 drones plus 6, 14 more workers, which is why we went from 66 up to 80 workers. Obviously, we're building a few buildings here and there, so it's a little bit different. Let's split our army, guys. So that's one side and one side. So what did I do? I just boxed a bunch of army, and we're going to put that on number 3. So we've got these guys down here in number 3, and main army up here. So I'm going to go in with the main army first. I don't think he's retaken this base, but he has. All right, so we move in, A-move this base, and now the other side, I'm A-moving on the minimap, but I'm going to keep watching this one. So these guys, I don't want to attack any mass cell at Archon. That's getting kind of gross, right? But these guys can move in. Heyo. And we can try to run back in on the north now that he's chasing us. These guys A-move in and watch this army. Kill that and then run away. So we're going to run these guys down just to here. And then these guys go in. And now we want to run away. Okay. So what are we going to do, guys? We're going to build more Banelings. And we're going to try to just have enough Banelings to kill him on creep. Now, we've let his army get way too big. So if he chases me, these guys we're going to send back in. And it's just A-move in and then run away. In this case, we've cornered ourselves. We're not going to be able to run away. Okay, so these guys are going to be our new Control 3, waiting up there to base trade. We're going to make more Hydras and a lot more Banelings. And these guys are just going to keep him in. We're feeling like I can't win a direct army fight, guys. So we feel like we kind of have to just keep going for the base trade. So you see he's coming down here. We confirm that. Run the drones to the top. And just go A-move his main base, okay? Now, when you're in a base trade, first order of business, find your overlords. Click them to the corner. Rally away from his army and keep massing Zerglings. And then grab some drones. We're going to go build a hatchery on the side of the map. Now, we can click some units through his base. Just try to click some units in. Click in there. Oh, these guys, my secondary army only A-move there. We'll add that to my main army since it's all together now. So we're going to try and click on the Nexus, guys, to stop the recall. So if you get in a base trade, always try to stop the recall. That's what we just did there, and that is huge. So I was trying to get in, kill the fighting units, and the next order of business was to focus that down. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And you see he's got a killer army. We still probably could have dealt with that with Banelings, because he doesn't have that much tankiness in front of it. But with Storm, Archons, that many Colossus, easier said than done, right? Now, you can also do things like this if you really want, where you're like, haha, catch him, and try to catch these Colossus on their own. Like, if his army splits up in a base trade, you want to move, A-move, move, A-move, and you can see, like, suddenly Colossus on their own don't actually look that strong. You got to do a bit of that move, A-move micro if you really want to get the hits off, though. And he's probably got this bottom left base, so I'm still building Lings. I've still got income coming in, remember, I still got bases mining right now. Oh, we should use this button. Control click that one. All right. Oh, run away. Okay. F2, bring it all back. Control click. Guys on gas. Guys on minerals up here. Jumping around my bases. Those guys oversaturated. Cool. So we killed most of his Colossus, so we should be good. We've got, how many Hydras is it, guys? 16 Hydras. About 16 to 20 Hydras is all you'll ever need. He's coming for me again, so we're going to box off this army. And we're going to shift, right-click, A move to get that past him. Okay? And these guys, I do want to fight in front on, but there's just no reason to do it until I've got him really stressed out, which is why we're sending that half the army to just A move down there, okay? We don't need any micro on that. It's just send it, set it, and forget it. And then we're going to fight here, okay? And we're going to control click the Banelings. We're going to try and move commandos into his army. Click on the High Templar in the middle if you can. And we're managed to take that out. Wow, so this is interesting. This is the first game doing Hydras. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to add the Hydras in, but that really added a lot of complexity to the style. And I think what you're going to notice is it gave my opponent a lot more time, which is very, very dangerous. Because giving them more time gives them more chance to get more Colossus and Archons, which counter this style. Now, obviously, we are seeing a lot more Colossus Archon in this show than you guys might run into on the ladder, simply because people know I'm going to be doing a heavy Ling Bane style. Let's go back and look at the replay really quickly and actually think about, okay, what if I committed to the old 1-1 Ling Bane timing? What if I just went 100% on that? Would it have worked? It might have. My opponent built a lot of oracles, but there's no way they had proper production because they were spending so much money on oracles and like shield batteries that I have a feeling I probably could have just ran in with Ling Bane and won the game. I know that in hindsight, but I wasn't actively scouting enough to realize it in the moment. And you can see here, yeah, it's like 7 minutes, guys. There's a Colossus, 2 Adepts, 2 Stalkers, 4 Oracles. Oracles are good, but especially if they don't see you moving across the map, like there is no reason why I should have let my opponent be this greedy. 77 probes with no army at 8 minutes. I mean, think about it. This is normally when I was hitting with like 40 Banes, 120 Zerglings. I'm not doing it this game because I built 6 gases and a Hydrodan, and, you know, obviously I was defending the Oracles as well, which does take a bit of money, but I think there's definitely something to be said here for actually just killing your opponent with the 1-1 Ling Bane timing, or doing that first could still be very effective. And it's all going to depend on what we're running into a little bit. And that's also something else where I think a little bit more scouting is going to be something I just want to be doing a lot more of. So, first things first, guys, let's talk about ZVP and a little adjustment I didn't plan, but I'm realizing now we're in Diamond 2, it is not past time, it's the right time to learn this. And that is that your first Overlord in ZVP. We're in Diamond 2, people are going to be doing proper builds, and a proper build means their tech starts at about 2 minutes 30, sometimes even earlier than that, which means it's before their first gateway unit can kill your Overlord. So our first Overlord is always going to go in and look for their tech from now on. That's going to be a new rule, specially for ZVP. Okay, guys? Let's write it down. 6 gas. Infestors will probably only be 4 gas? I think it'll be 4 gas, yeah. 4 or 5 gas. Alright, scouting. So guys, ZVP, every game, first Overlord will look for tech. So what does that mean? Goes straight to natural, then queues through the back of the main. I'll show you guys what that means. The Overlord will click here, our first one, and then shift click out the back of the base. So if they don't go for a Stalker first, if they build it second, your Overlord will get through completely free. And there's a very high chance you'll see what's going on. Now, if you don't, say your Overlord gets in the main, sees the pile and there's no tech there, like in this game, they built it in the wall, that's going to remind us also to send a Zergling to hit the natural as well, which is something we'll start doing every game as well. I don't think that's too hard for us. Send 1 Ling around edge of map and into main base. And if they don't have a unit in the wall, it might get in and get a full scout. If not, it's at least going to see what's at their wall off. That's going to be really useful. So that's some interesting scouting. If we know it's a Stargate, ZVP versus Stargate. What are we going to do, guys? We're going to build at about, what, 3 minutes 40, I think? 3 minutes 40. Spore in main base is going to usually help us out. And then we're going to prioritize Freddie Mercury over Bane Nest plus second gas, okay? Can delay those a full inject cycle, you know, about 30 to 40 seconds, no problem. And that brings us an important thing. If you're building more queens and you're building spores, extra spores a bit later, say about 4:30 maybe. If you're building a lot of spores and queens, it's a lot of minerals. What's Freddie Mercury? Queens 4 and 5, yeah. So our defense queens / creep queens. Freddie Mercury. Whoops, Freddie Mercury. So 340 spore in the yeah. So you're spending a lot of minerals on stuff. So if you take a Bailey Nest, a second gas, and you build a spore in each base, and you build 3 queens, you're kind of effing yourself. So we're learning an inherent bit of flexibility here, right? So basically, anti-air costs a lot of minerals and drones. Some will die, some will turn into spores. So we need to delay gas and other tech a bit and make sure we keep droning hard to keep our economy solid. That's going to be it. That's going to be the main thing there. That's going to be the really big thing, right? So that hopefully gives the context that people need. I have games where people screw with me with cannons at my natural and take their own with cannons. Then they tech to carriers. Sometimes I notice in their main wins. Yeah, you should never get... Just block it with drones, my friend, and you'll smash it down. The cannons command doesn't work anymore for the old Pig Daily Booyah, but I did recently put up a coaching video on how to defend cannon rushes on my Pig coaching channel. The same channel that this Bronze to GM's going up. Pig, if you plan to do a 27 drone ling bane pressure, what's the ideal way to scout that they are walling off so you don't build 20 lings? Well, I mean, if you just always scout with your first 2 or 4 zerglings, however many you build when your pool's done, then you can see what's going on and cancel your baneling nest in time. Or you can just keep committing. The thing is, most wall-off builds die to 25 drone, 23 drone, even 27 drone Massling Bane. It just depends how safe the players are playing in the meta you're at. If everyone's always building a spine and a full wall-off by default, and they're quick to pull all their queens and re-wall off properly, yeah, it might not work out. But if people are delaying their like wall-offs and stuff, then it might work. On the other hand, yeah, if you just want to play the defense, oh, I'll just be greedy. I'll cancel my Baneling Nest, drone up, build my own Roach Warren, play a Roach game. That's fine too. But yeah, if you just scout, you can see that they have more workers on their natural than you early. Usually, there's a pretty big tell. You're like, hey, why do you have like 4 more workers here? It's like, well, you've got workers on gas. They don't even have a gas, right? So 1 more drone from not being an extractor, a bunch more drones from that. And they also usually don't take a 3rd base as well. So your 3rd base is building. Why don't they have a 3rd? Why do they have more drones on their natural? Why do they already have 2 queens on their natural? It's because they're building a 3rd one in the main. Why is there a Roach Warren or an Evo Chamber already going down in the wall off, or a Spine Crawler, anything like that? Yeah. Any of those could be the individual tells, but up to you to look at your own games, because I don't know what your games look like, right? So you'd actually check what your opponents are doing in those scenarios. Because what I think in my head of a proper situation might be very different to what you guys run into on the ladder, right? Because there's people, even in GM, who just do friggin' whack shit, and you're like, what the hell are they doing? That's kind of crazy. Can you still defend with drones when they go ham with the number of cannons? Yeah, 100%, man. You should always be able to defend with workers every cannon rush, unless they get a really good position up, in which case, usually that's because you didn't react fast enough or scouted early enough, but we'll see what happens. Do you feel more than 4 camera keys are necessary? Nothing's ever necessary. You could play with your feet and you'd be fine. Is it impactful? Yeah, I mean, it helps. I'm debating whether to adapt my setup. It's nice. It's not the most important thing, Crab Rangoon. You can do it if you want, but it's... I mean, it's... Yeah. I like it. I use 6 camera locations. Some people use 8. Some people only use 3. Some people don't use them at all. You can get to an incredibly high level without using them. It's more about... It's not about, is it worth it? Obviously, it's going to help. Is it going to help? It's more, are you willing to put in the effort for the game feeling a little smoother in a few scenarios where you might use those camera locations? Are you willing? If you're not willing to put that work in, don't bother. If you are, go for it. Usually when people are asking this, I are on the side of probably not worth it, but I can't read your mind. So everyone's a little bit different on that. Yeah. My fifth, so I have 6 camera locations, necessary paper. I have 5 bases and then the rally point. My 5th base camera location always goes to the newest unsaturated base. So when my 5th base gets filled with workers, I put that on my 6th base. When my 6th base is full of workers, I put it on my 7th and so on. Just so whenever I jump to like, oh, I jump to my 3rd. Oh, the workers are all just sitting there. I grab them, go to camera location 5 and chuck them on that base. It's not perfect. Sometimes I move it early. So like my 5th base actually only has like 10 drones on it. It's not full and I'm already rallying to my 6th base or whatever, but you know, it's not a 100% set in stone habit, but it's pretty nice. I like it. How do you work your rally camera? Do I change it often? It's usually out front the natural. I use it for proxies with Terran and Protoss a fair bit. I'll just put it where my proxy is. And ZvZ, if I'm doing like a Ling Bane all in, I'll put it outside my opponent's base and I'll stop control grouping Ling Bane. And then I'll just jump to the rally point and manually morph Banelings and head in, just so I'm not accidentally rallying big waves of 20 Zerglings into Banelings without realizing while microing in the back of their base running Zerglings around. Yeah, not a bad way to incrementally learn. I like that. Probe said he learnt camera locations on just 2 bases. Then he got so good at using those, he started getting annoyed he didn't have one on his 3rd base. So it was kind of natural to expand it from there and start loading the other ones. That's cute. When did you learn the core, Probe? I think you learnt it before me, right? 2nd base, 3rd base. Because I learnt it in 2015. Alright guys, we're in a ZvT versus Affenbrot. I'm not sure the MMR. If Twitch chat wants to let me know they can. But this is going to be a Zerg versus Terran game. So remember, we're going to be playing Infestors in this matchup. Let's send our drone scout across the map. Send this guy down here to take our expansion. So yeah, essentially... Oh, okay. Hello. Not every day they do that. So look, he's following him. So if he goes back, yeah, we'll just take that. That's fine. I was going to try and sneak a drone down here, guys. But that's okay. Now you might be like, why didn't you attack him? It's because I didn't... If he then drops an engineering bay at the last second before the SCV dies and my drone isn't already at another base, I'd be at like 500 minerals. We'd be in a really bad position. Let's just do our standard thing from here. Gas and then pool. Now, our opponent's trying to do what we call virgin micro by interrupting our minerals. And he made this drone kind of bounce around. So what we can do is we can manually make sure the drones are all spread across those patches. And if you look closely, you're going to notice there's 2 workers on each patch. Notice there's no patch that is not ever being, like there's no patch that's not being mined, pretty much ever. Whereas, for instance, if this was the case, if you look at that mineral line, you should be able to see that this mineral patch is not getting made use of, right guys? So that's what you want to be paying attention to, okay? In these scenarios. Now, we're just going to do our normal build, guys. Overlord there, Overlord there. This Overlord's going to poke in, seize the command center, and just hang back over here for now. No worries. We've got this Overlord is going to go over there, actually. You go there, you go there. Build a queen, build a Zergling. We're going to build 6 Zerglings because there's a bunker there. This player is what I would call a cheeky dickhead, guys. No worries. Okay. All right, we're going to wait for the queen. The queen will tank, and then the Zerglings will kill. I think a queen and 6lings should be enough to deal with this. Very nice harassment from my opponent. Now let's pull off gas, guys.
Forces are under attack.
Oh, he's going to sacrifice the SCV. That's very good for me. Let's start Ling speed. Keep building drones here. And we did, unfortunately, let that SCV get back to the bunker. Just waiting for it, guys. And let's also build our natural. Inject. Inject. And here we go. Let's put the drones on mining. Sent these guys down here. We can just get 1 Zerg. Always target the SCV, but only do it with 1 or 2 guys. And you always want to target the bunker so they can't sell it. We didn't do that quickly enough. And he was able to get 75 minerals back, which sucks. So what am I doing? I'm building drones, building overlords, building drones, building overlords. Let's build Latifah here. That was a very hard thing, but I think you could go up to about 8 Zerglings, but because a queen can tank those units so well, and I could pull some drones to fight, I'd already seen an expansion. Going more than 8 Zerglings would be absolutely just unnecessary. Okay, guys? So this is actually going to be Latifah. She's going to go over there, spread some creep, and then start injecting. We're going to get another inject going here. We'll send our Overlord through the base to see what the follow-up is. And let's just check everything's good. So camera location's all good. Yeah, 5th base, 4th base. All this stuff seems all right. grab a few of these drones, send them back on gas. And okay, so he's being very annoying. All right, no worries. So we'll build a few more lings, guys. Let's go inject. I'm gonna build 2 queens, or even 3 actually. All right. These guys are gonna become Freddie Mercury. So Cersei and Latifah are both gonna just kind of metamorphosize. We're gonna build a pack of lings here to help as well. Queens are gonna try to fight. If they've got a Reaper in front, try to focus the Hellions instead. And in general, guys, if your opponent's really annoying you, notice we're not running the lings at him. But what we can do is we can literally just do this if we want and just shift-click our lings around the map, steal them, to try to get the pressure off. We're going to build like 6-7 overlords now. Inject. That queen never built, so we'll build it. But we'll use these guys to build it. Or these girls, I should say. Inject. Let's get the second gas, the Baneling Nest. Change the rally point. Double Evo Chamber, Lair. And just keep building drones. Alright, guys. Oh, he's going for a run-in. Good move by him. I wasn't watching him aiming that at all. It happens. Now, obviously, we don't want to chase off creep, but because that Hellion's so low, I'm going to be greedy and then pull back. Now, oh, I see why he's running away and why he's distracted. It's because those lings I shift-clicked into his base are going to have a massive payoff. If your opponent is multitasking like they're a smurf, guys, the trick is they're not smurfing. The trick is that they're doing nothing but attacking you. And if you can just throw any distraction in behind, you're going to ruin everything. Let's build another queen here because it seems we do need a lot of queens. Let's add this queen to our control group. And because there was a starport with a tech lab, let's make sure we build a spore in each base as well, okay? Because we did spot that earlier. And actually, that's a... Oh, that's a fusion core. Oh, God, I didn't even realize that was a fusion core. Okay, so we're just going to keep building queens here, guys. We're going to put every single queen on a hotkey. The spore didn't build in the main, which is very frustrating. The main base is usually one of the most common places that they want to attack. And, oh, it's coming in again. All right, I'm building drones behind this, guys, because our economy already hurts. We're going to try to move past for a bit of a wraparound. And we're going to keep building queens here for now. Okay, so what we need is a spire. You always need a spire to counter battle cruisers, remember? So let's try and build that spire there. Try and take gases. Oh, my lord. Relentless. All right, build a queen there. Inject. Add this queen there, but add it to our defense queen, and then this one. So what I'm making sure is there's going to be a new queen injecting. That queen's not on a control group injecting, and the new queen popping also injecting. We can move all of our queens up here, and we're going to keep holding this drone key down in the midst of this, okay? So they're doing a good job of this, guys, being a bit of a naughty one. Just shift-click your drones. We're going to come down here. We're going to split the queens, so half on the high ground, half on the low ground. Now, because he goes just to the high ground, we'll chase him down. Okay, let's go. 1-1 upgrades. Bane speed. Transfuse any queen that he's attacking. And look at that, guys. He's attacking our base again. So what are we going to do? We know that's shut down. The BC has to be dead. We're going to stop looking at it. It must be dead. The lings, they're going to kill that. That's fine. What are we doing? Inject, inject, inject. Overlords and drones. Oops. Oops. There we go. Grab about 6 more of these. Go to there. Take the gases. And we're going to send an overseer. I don't know what he's doing. I assume it's probably Mech, guys. I don't know. Let's build some Zerglings so we have something on the ground to defend. Let's build those 2 macro hatcheries, which I kept meaning to do and just kept getting delayed. Inject, inject, inject. Build Zerglings. Build overlords, okay? Shift 1. 5th base, shift 1. Let's center those camera locations. Control click, shift 1. I don't know what he's doing, guys, but let's send the queens down here to defend. Let's build some drones for the gases. We'll rally everything to the 4th. We're at 70 workers, which is more than I even wanted to have necessarily. Alright, guys, we can run the drones away. Queens will defend this. We'll rebuild that queen. So you want to move underneath when you've got overwhelming numbers like this, guys, and then just drop transfusers as you chase them away. Build a drone for the gas. Alright, so let's build corruptors. So we're going to put them on number 3. It looks like, what have we got? 4th command center building. So he's trying to play battle mech. So we're going to have 8 corruptors on the way. I'm going to click those over here since there's a battle cruiser there they might be able to kill. And we're going to build a roach horn. This is something I wrote actually in the notes for today, which means we're going to swap off carapace. Instead, we're going to go range and melee. So attack upgrades only, okay? Now what you can do here is you can grab some Zerglings and put those ready on number 7 for that run by that we love doing. Our corruptors, we can just click on the BC. We can spread a little bit of creep here. And, oh, hello. Try and go for the surround. Trying to build lots more Zerglings and queens. We don't want to chase off creep. So our queens will be able to defend that. And they're going to queue a lot of injects across our hatcheries as well, which is going to just give us a fountain of lava. And then they can shift a move back to the front, okay? Corruptors chased off the battle cruiser. Inject, inject, inject. We can now build roaches, guys. We're going to build 1 big round of roaches. We do need a lot more overlords. We're only building 2. We need about 5 more. Start roach speed. Just keep building overlords. There we go. That should be enough overlords for the rest of this game. And now we want to make banelings. Just click them in the mineral line. We're never going to look at that again. These guys, Alt 8, shift click to the top left. And what you can do is you can actually shift morph baneling and then shift click in this mineral line. So if he's got that 4th, they'll run in that mineral line. I think that works with the new patch. I haven't actually tested this, so this is going to be a new one. It's one of the most recent changes. Let's see if this works. Did that work? Okay, the rally point doesn't work. You can shift morph the banelings, but you're going to have to rally them in yourself. And if there's no workers there, I want them to hit the natural. So I'll shift click there. Now we just went in there. We might have killed 20 SCVs. We might not have done anything. Don't know, guys. All right. Inject, inject, inject. We've got some roaches to help with the Hellions, but other than that, it's still mostly just Ling Bane here, guys. Let's make a lot of Banelings. But we're pretty gas starved, so that's not working too well. He's going to try and run back. Now, we killed some depots. Looks like they derped out there a little bit. It is what it is. Alright, guys. Now, we saw he was taking a base, so we're going to split our army. These guys on number 7 are going to go up there and deny that base. The other army is going to run down this side. Oh, did he just teleport in? Oh, look, there's Hellions there. Okay, so main army is going to be here. Corruptors, move, shoot. Move, shoot. If they're trying to run away like this, guys, move, shoot. If they stop moving, you don't need to do it. And then our own Hellions, Cyclones. Oh, that's too many, apparently. Too many Hellions, my god. Jeez. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, we didn't have enough Banelings there. We're going to build more Roaches and Banes, guys, to deal with the next wave. These guys denied that command center from making a planetary. That was the whole job. Don't let them make a planetary, okay? Let's click the Banelings on the depot. And then once you're in the mineral line, you know you're going to get good damage. Awesome. Okay. So we killed his battle cruisers, so we don't need to build more Corruptors now, which means we can send these guys around the back. And they're going to make PP on the command center, okay, guys? It's a technical maneuver. Going to try and take the gases on the extra bases. We're on 66 drones, so I'll try and make a bunch more drones as well. Inject, inject, inject. And we can transfer these over. Alright, we're going to try and go for another attack. So what we want, once again, just Zerglings, stop him making a planetary. Just expendable units, just kill the planetary before it finishes. More Lings, more Roaches. And we're going to try and attack the right side at the same time. Okay. So what do we got, guys? The Corruptors are going to do PP and throw their lives away. Unfortunately, there was a missile turret there. But look at that. Stop the planetary. Slowest direction of all time just got denied. Now, you can make Ravagers if you want. They're more expensive, but they also are more effective. So we're just going to morph Ravagers. Hopefully, he doesn't have anything there that sees us. Oh, those guys are going to die. It happens. But notice we're just trying to not clump into a big ball for our opponent's splash damage or anything like that. Just going to A-move in now. Trying to spread some units out a little bit. Maybe bring these guys from the back that are just fighting buildings. And they get the command center, which is pretty nice, but if you're getting chased, you can drop some vials and run away. Notice I did those manually, but you could easily just do them rapid fire like that. Just hold the button down. Inject, inject, inject. A few more Roaches, a lot more Zerglings. And as we make all these into Banelings, and then we're reinforced with more Zerglings, it should be good to push. So, let's spread creep, guys. Creep. Let's use our creep queens as well to spread tumors if there aren't any in a certain direction. And let's check our economy. This base is a bit light, so we can go a couple drones there. Let's build a spore and a spine on each base as well, because otherwise we could get a little bit ruined by that. and we'll just build some drones for these gases. If you don't keep perfect track of your economy in the late game, that's okay. But the longer it goes, the more you want to try to get, especially against Mech, up in the 70 to 80 range. Same thing as like we did before against like Colossuses and Archons. You don't want to go there by default. You want to try and do stuff off a lower economy to start, but eventually you're going to want to go there. All right, guys, so we're now splitting our army. We're going to put some Zergling spotters on the map just to try and get some vision, make sure there's no corner bases. And we're basically just going, okay, mass Zerglings, mass Roaches. We're just going to keep attacking with this style. And this is specifically a reaction versus Mech, remember. +2 range, +2 carapace on the way. Get an infestation pit in case you need it for future. Now, there's not that many Banelings here, but it should be enough. We'll make a few more. So because this area is easy to attack, we're going to attack this side first. And we're always trying to make sure we have some Zerglings in the mix, just because they take like tank shots and stuff away from the center of these guys, which try to spread out. So you see these guys, we're going to just basically A-move that planetary on the mini-map. So this is our high attention side, A-move. Other side, A-move, okay? So we're microing this side. Get the Lings on top of the tanks, guys. Lings on top of the tanks. Banelings, if you can click them in the Hellions, that's great. Alright, these guys are in trouble. They're going to run away. Let's check our other side. Are they doing good? Yep. They're doing the Lord's work. Okay. Build more Zerglings. Inject, inject, inject. Build more Zerglings. We've got tons of extra drones there that need a new base. Should we take more bases, guys? Always, always, always. After big attacks, take bases. And you can see my income's not that great, right? I guess I'm spending money really fast. I've got too much gas income for sure. So I took all these gases. I went to 8 and then 10 gases. Why did we do that? That was more like OCD than anything else. Banelings are expensive, but we don't need the 10 gases. Just the 7 and 8 is fine, especially since our main base gases haven't run out yet. Inject, inject, inject. Let's build a few more Roaches here. And essentially, if he's still on 3 bases and those 3 bases are mining out, that's totally fine. We can be a little patient right now. Let's make as many Banes as we can for our next wave. Spread a little bit more creep. Oh, so he's coming down here, enacting the BC tax. Luckily, it's just 1. I was thinking about building Corruptors, but it's still just 1, guys. Spreading creep and shift-clicking our creep queens back to safety. Spread creep, spread creep, spread creep. All right, so let's once again split our army up. These guys are going to go down that left side. These guys are going to go down the right. I'm going to try and break these rocks. Just don't blow your Banelings up on them. Be careful about that, guys. As long as he doesn't... No, he sees it. He is there. Okay. I was like, as long as he doesn't have tanks in range, we can break those rocks and get an easier attack angle. That's cool. Inject, inject, inject. More Lings. And going to make some more Banes. A lot more Banes. What about these guys? That's not really enough Banelings, guys. That's 9 Banelings. I always want to have at least kind of 10 or 15 Banelings to clear the workers. If you want to just click on the planetary, you need a lot more Banelings than that. Alright, guys. Send the Queens over here. The Freddie Mercury squad. See what they can do. These guys are going to go around. Once again, same attack path. Really got to deny these bases. I'm going to just build 2 Zerglings and just click them there. No control group for those guys for scouting. Control click the idle worker button and send them to this base. And let's take another base on the left side. I like to expand down both sides of the map at the same time. So if one side goes down, the other side's still alive. Alright, guys, he's pushing, but we're pushing too. Alright, let's go. Try and move right on top. Notice control click the Banelings, click them in the mineral line, and then on the planetary, so that they blow up the SCVs as well. Now my other army apparently got distracted, something like that, because this got really weird. So we're trying to micro this army. Get out of there. Run away. Run away. The Queens can kill that BC, hopefully. Well, he doesn't seem to have any mining bases except this left one now. So let's see if we can take that out. More Roaches, more Lings. Now, if you've got them turtled like this, there isn't a unit which basically destroys Mech. And we're in Diamond 2, so I actually think I should show it to you right now, okay? It's called the Swarm Host. If they don't have lots of... If he's got 3 battle cruisers, Cyclone Hellion all over the map, not going to work. Because it's a mobility issue. But... Or it's hard to make work. But if it's mostly tanks, which I think I've got him scared to be mostly on tanks now, I think we can do it. So we're going to build about 16 Swarm Hosts. This is 13. I think that'll be enough. And the idea is if our main army hits the left, our Swarm Hosts hit the right. So it's very easy to overcomplicate things and go, main army right, main army left, Swarm Hosts up the middle. 3 control groups is way too many. It's better to just use 2 control groups really well. So we're going to use the swarmers to go hit the production on the right and that 3rd base that we kept hitting. And then we're going to hit on that side with this one. So spread that creep like that. Got lots of banelings making. Probably more than I should have, actually. I'm going to cancel a bunch of those guys, because I think that's too many. Let's just check. Does he have this command center? My swarmers are going down the right side. They're going to run right up there. Okay, he doesn't seem to have that, which is good. Don't think he has this one either. No, he doesn't. All right. So these guys are going to try to run in, and then I'll micro the swarmers afterwards, okay? Let's go. Click the banelings into the command center, guys. And once they get in the mineral line, click on that. And let's pull away. That was very expensive. That was very expensive. And we're going to throw the swarm host here. So here's what you do with swarm hosts, okay? Control click and then move command as quickly as they launch. Otherwise, they're going to land on just random stuff, okay? And we're going to grab half land there and half land there. And the idea is to... Oh, I thought the planetary wasn't finished. I could have done that better. That's all right. But we can go back in on the same side soon. All right, more roaches, more lings, more banes. Still maxed out, guys. As long as we keep transferring workers, we're basically just sandpapering our opponent down. Sanding him down little by little. Keeping, and check your worker count, because especially if you're building like a spine and a spore at each base, something like that, it does start to cost you. My opponent hasn't been harassing a lot, so I could be greedy and skip on that. But if they're harassing a lot, you could even go 2 or 3 spines at each base. Or you could leave like a section of units off on that side of the map. So the swarm hosts need to be firing constantly. So let's get some more practice with those swarm host waves. And because they're free units, that kind of prompts your opponent to come and fight you a lot of the time. So let's just try and get more of these tanks. And what we want to do is we want to do the same micro, but we want to do smaller boxes. So like just land like 2 or 3 locusts, 2 or 3 locusts, and you want to spread them across the siege tanks. And you'll notice that they're all friendly firing each other. We've got like maybe 3 or 4 tanks there. So you just kind of box click, box click, box click. Inject, inject, inject. And what are we? We're already maxed, so control click idle workers, send them to the left side. And we're just going to try and, this time, we want to kill all the siege tanks that are here. So let's split our army up. Okay, we're going to bring the queens over. Wait. Let's see if we can do this. So sit still. And nice, those bios did good. Alright, so we're going to bring the queens over. They'll get rid of the battle cruiser. I'll do one more locust wave here. Oh, there we go. Run away. Run away, queens. So we're going to spread some of these locusts out on those tanks. Some of them automatically landed. But you don't want them to waste themselves, so you got to be careful with that. Alright. So if he's going to land that, and we're just going to click it while our queens deal with the battle cruiser guys. And we're going to try and bile it down as well. We're trying to A-move here. I know I've got the numbers, so I can take some sloppy fights. But even that should have its limits, guys. More roaches, more lings, more lings, more lings. So that was me being a little bit more YOLO. Alright, we're gonna hit the left side. Actually, we'll go up the guts. I just want to keep killing these. Oh. Hello. Drop some locusts there. Interesting. Alright, let's make more banelings. Get ready for another wave, guys. You can even throw a single swarm host like that. That's what you do. Control click. I mean, we could probably just let it fire. But look at that. Isn't that juicy, man? Throw the locusts, run away. Now he's built another BC, guys. What the hell? Let's move. If it's a planetary, we don't really want to land on it. So what we could do is we could do this. Out of planetary range and hold position. They're getting amazing damage. Awesome. So the swarmers are going to go back to the right side. These guys are going to come back in here one more time. We're just going to aim move for now. Trying to just spread the units out. And I'm building mass Zergling to reinforce here. Trying to bile down the command center. And oh, he doesn't have any more planetaries. I think we might have it, guys. So I was trying to confirm the kill on that command center. GG, well, hey. Really surprising ability to just survive there for Affenbrot. That took me a really long time to wear him down. You can see that having the Roach Ravager there is kind of vital though, because the Lings, while very good at dealing with the tank shots, they do kind of melt to the Hellions. So you've got to be able to mix in the Roaches and the Ravagers as well. Now, arguably, you can skip that, just go Massling Bane, hit some brutal timings. You might be able to win as well. I don't think that's necessarily the wrong way to play. If your opponents are really good at reacting and massing Hellions and Widow Mines early, they'll smash it. But playing Massling Bane can actually be really, really effective. So arguably I could have gone Swarm Hosts a lot earlier in this game, guys, but the trick is get just enough Corruptors to shut the BCs down, say 4 Corruptors per battlecruiser, and then focus on enough ground army to keep you safe. Get 4 bases of drones up and try to keep the 4 bases going all game long. So keep transferring workers, building a few drones to replace ones you lose or buildings, and then just basically keep denying bases and either attacking multiple fronts or grouping up your army and attacking one front. And if they get really turtly and defensive with lots of tanks, then you want to make sure that you are going to be actually get those swarm hosts to make sure that you're like saying, hey, you need to attack me or these swarm hosts are just going to keep killing units for free over and over again. You'll notice we didn't use any spellcasters. Vipers, they're pretty amazing, but they're not the most necessary there. I think these units are higher value for your APM, essentially. So I think what's interesting here, right, is we figured out, what do we want to do, guys? Roach Warren. Get enough Corruptors to counter BCs. 4 per BC. If it's just one battlecruiser, you don't need any. Just 1 to 2 BCs. You can maybe skip them entirely, but still have the Spire ready in case, right? Because your queens can kill them, right? We want to go to 4 base economy, right? So we want to go to 4 base economy and maintain that level of drones, say about 80 all game long. And then basically just keep attacking with Ravager or Roach, Ravager Ling Bane, to deny 4th base. You know, split and attack multiple sides. Occasionally group up for a single attack on one location from 2 sides, right? So if they've spread their units too thin, you can kind of grab everything and collapse on one location. If they Mega Turtle, add 10 to 16 swarm hosts, no more than that, and start grinding them down with locusts, you know, landing on tanks. Land on tanks with small squads to inflict maximum damage and friendly fire, right? They're the highest value targets. Land away from Hellbats, as they'll one-shot locusts. So if you just land in the middle of the Hellbats, even if it's on a tank, the Hellbats will kill you before you get to do anything. So that can be really effective, and that kind of gives us a different way of playing, right? We wanted to play Lingbane and Festa versus Terran. Festas can be good versus Mech, but they're not going to be a mainstay. So that's a specifically anti-bio unit. Now you could play Lingbane Hydra versus Mech. You can play Lingbane Hydra Swarm Host. You can play a Roach Hydra Viper. There's many different solutions. Pure Lingbane, though, is a bit too dangerous, as I said, because you are going to basically just be way too vulnerable to things like Hellions and that sort of stuff. Yeah, show the resources traded. It was pretty ridiculous, man. Yeah, I was definitely not being directly cost efficient, but you're not meant to ever verse Terran. So basically at about 11 minutes, you know, I'd already rolled some Banelings into the 3rd base. I don't know how much they got. And we did these just as distractions, right? Just as like, okay, we'll just roll some stuff in, keep my opponent kind of busy. They didn't really do much, but we know he's trying to take a 4th, and that was important because what did we do? From 11 minutes on, guys, I just kept splitting units to deny this 4th. I basically said, hey, either you come and attack me and my army can just surround you on creep and beat you, or even just out in the middle of the map when you're, you know, you don't see where I'm coming from, or you're gonna just you can turtle and I'll just keep denying your bases, and you know, I'm just gonna keep expanding my own economy. And like even here, after denying that base, I was like, cool, get in there, just kill whatever we can. And you don't need to be directly cost efficient because you're maintaining that 80 worker economy for bases, and their bases are already mining out, right? So you just keep taking new bases, keep spreading your drones to them, keep taking new bases, and that's kind of the way it is. So he did lose all of his battle cruisers, but he actually kept building them. So throwing my corruptors away was a little wasteful. You could argue just keep them alive in case. But, I mean, these attacks were great. Definitely should have clicked that command center. Luckily it did go down. And it's like, hey, attack the right. Okay, go deny that left side again, you know? Split off army and go do that, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to do. Or start attacking two sides at once. You know, Pig, 20 minutes is enough time to max out and kill your opponent 3 times? That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. WBLC describing the game. So was there 20 battle cruisers teleporting into my base? Like the question you're making fun of? Oh, it was? It wasn't? Get wrecked, Twitch chat. You checkmated yourself, nerd. Nerd. Yeah. As you can see, he's in such a defensive mindset at this point that Swarm Hosts definitely could have come out 10, 12, 15 minutes earlier, and they would have been fantastic. Swarm Hosts are just much harder to use versus an aggressive mech player, so it puts you in a bit of a dicey position. They're very good at defending pushes, but it really relies on you not panicking with the positioning in the micro. Will you be uploading the replay? I upload all of the replays for Bronze to GM. They all get posted just to subscribers of my Twitch channel and my Patreon, I believe, in the Discord. So I think Dot's probably already been putting them up for each session, I believe. You guys let me know. Anyone who's been following that. So Dot's been handling the replays. I don't know if she just does it all as one at the end of the season, or if she posts it league by league. Yeah. Cool. And remember, guys, whenever we are attacking two sides, it was always A move one side, micro the other side. Basically, we were keeping it really simple for ourselves. So there was a lot of these fights. Like this one, I'm watching the right side, not the left, right? And what happened? This army came down and kind of aggroed my army. So some units ran in and died, and then these guys were just chasing. I didn't even realize. But that's fine, because I was making sure I killed the command center, I killed a lot of workers, just made sure I wasn't running into a terrible situation on this side. There was a lot of moments like this, and it didn't really happen in this game, but there was a lot of moments where you guys might run into a player who, when this attack's coming in, you run up here and they've got 8 siege tanks. You take a volley, you just run away. And then you swap to focusing on this army and doing the best you can with it. I never really ran into that. It was always like, yeah, there's a few tanks, but it's not too bad. And remember, banelings go for the planetary, the SCVs, lings go after the siege tanks. If you guys can micro that, that's going to be fantastic. So it's A move, and then just start boxing units and kind of doing individual things with them is the best way to. You're not going to be perfect with it, so don't obsess over being perfect with it. The biggest mistake players make in these situations is like, and they feel they need to like micromanage every little thing, and it ruins them because they're like, everything run into the mineral iron, and then it's like, well, you could be killing the tanks with your Zerglings right now, but instead you're clumping up because you're obsessing over what the banelings should do. In general, it's that rule we always go back to. Try not to control your whole army on one control group. Once you've set it up and done the A move, try to manually box things and kind of like control individual sections of your army. That way, you've got kind of a first do no harm mentality where you're not panicking and messing up the majority. Maybe you mess up a few units you select and tell them to do something, but you're guaranteed to be a little bit more specific and tactical in your actions. Now you mention it, he slowed down his aggression a lot when you started threatening with the counters. Yeah, because it's very hard for Terran to defend that. Remember, I was on the back foot early game. It was actually like really good Hellion pressure and stuff. I was like, well, we're starting to deal with quicker, earlier Hellion pressure. This is good. All right, guys, we're playing ZVP. We're going to go for a hatchery first, as we do, and we're going to be playing more Hydras in this matchup. Now, we've previously been playing against a lot of players who are like massing Colossus and Archons. We're going to be scouting a lot, so let's remember, guys, our first Overlord is going to actually be going straight through the base, just like that. So it scouts the natural and then goes through the main to hopefully see what our opponent's tech is. And then we can go gas and spawning pool behind it. Dragon Ball Z Kill Blast. Yeah, that might be what it's... Whatever the fuck the fucking... Sorry, guys. I'm complaining about any fantasy that has, like, dumb beams powering up and pushing back at each other. I never watched Dragon Ball Z. I just remember trying to watch it because people kept saying it was so good, and it was two constipated guys who apparently didn't know what laxatives were, just going "Argh!" for 10 minutes. And I was like, wait, is this... I think I was coming in the middle of like an epic fight or something, and I was like, do they need to poo? They sound like they need to poo. And they're like, "Ah!" And then I was like, I don't know if this show's for me. I'm not into other people's bowel movements. A lot of people have told me I'm wrong, and I came in at the bad time and had no context and should have actually watched the show and given it a chance. But that was my only experience with Dragon Ball Z. But I was actually complaining about the StarCraft campaign specifically. And I think it was like an escort level or something where there's like some magic beam getting pushed back and forth. I think it was the Legacy campaign, but I did not like that at all. Anyways, Ling speed's on the way, guys. Let's send a drone over to our third base. And remember, the other scouting that we learned from our previous game. So we can chase this probe, sure, but let's take one Zergling. We'll steal that on a different key. We'll send it around the map and into our opponent's main. All right. So we've got Overlord out here, Overlord out here, and we'll put another Overlord out there as well in a little bit. For now, though, remember, it's inject, inject. Build the third base. We'll bring our Lings home, because obviously they're not going to be able to get that guy. Shift 1, double tap, add the rally point. Latifah's going to start up in just a moment. And next up will be an Overlord, which we'll click over here. And then back to droning. All right, guys, so our Overlord scouted. We see a Twilight Council and a Robo with the Zergling, which we can just leave outside their base. No worries. Awesome. All right, so Twilight, remember, if we saw Stargate, we would have reacted by building a Spore Crawler, delaying our second gas banking nest. Against the Twilight, we can play our completely standard build order. People are saying you don't like Rack Shear? If that's what the level's called, yeah, I thought that level was really lame. Yeah. I thought it was one of the weakest. Alright, guys, second gas, Baneling Nest will go down. Oh, I haven't put back on gas. Let's do that as well. Guess I can start that Baneling Nest. Oh. Oh, yeah, you can't start the Baneling Nest until you have 50 gas pig. That's how StarCraft works. Alright, there's an Adept here, guys. Those Lings will kill it. Tifa's going to spread creep, move over to the third. Just make sure that Adept dies. Alright, let's drone that up. And we want to build safety Zerglings because we're at 2 base saturation. So I've actually left this a little bit late, guys. Baneling Nest can now finally get started. It's a little bit late. Inject Lizzie, inject Cersei, inject Latifah. And let's get these Zerglings started. Alright. Now, obviously, we need Freddy Mercury. They're a little bit slow to start, so we'll start Freddy, we'll start Mercury. And I'm going to just send a few more Lings across the map to see what's up. Now, if they've got a Twilight, you also have to be worried about DTs. And seeing there's no Adepts moving out, we saw a Prism coming. We're just going to build a Spore Crawler in each base. Usually about 420 is a fine timing. I'm building them a little bit late this game. That's okay. Going to start a lair as well. Now we know it's a Dark Shrine. Inject, inject, inject. And let's take these 2 queens, put them on our defense key, because we need them right away. We'll build a few more Zerglings. I think 25 Zerglings should be enough. And we're going to go back to droning. Oh, we let him in. Oh, God. Ah! Okay, guys, only 1 DT survived. So we killed 3 of them. I think we're fine. We're building another Spore. Let's change the rally point back. As long as we build drones, I think we should be way ahead. Prism's still around. Send my queens after the Prism. Inject. Sorry, guys, I need to sneeze real bad. All right. Inject, inject, inject. Yeah, I think we can do that. Inject, inject, inject. And we're just going to build a few more drones, I guess. Actually, oh, hello. Coming in with more DTs. Now move fast to make sure you surround them. And now that our lair's done, make an Overseer add to our army key. All right, let's go. Double Evo Chamber. Double Macro Hatch, guys. Spread some more creep out front. 1, inject, inject, inject. Build a few more drones. Build a few more drones. And you know what, guys? We wanted to go up to 6 gas. We could do that. Because he doesn't have a third, I don't think we necessarily need to. I think we're just going to go mass Ling Bane, okay? Let's get Bane speed and then 1-1 in a second. Let's just keep building Lings, Banes. Because if they don't have a third base, there's no need to go Hydras. We just need to make enough stuff to survive, essentially. So we're making Banelings. Let's go after that Warp Prism. We can surround the Archon as well. Archon's too far away to get picked up by a Warp Prism. So if we can kill an Archon on its own, that's amazing. If they get 4 or 5 Archons together, different story. Barely saves it. Inject, inject, inject. Remember, if you've been distracted, inject. 1-1 upgrades, nothing but Ling Bane. We're going to check for corner bases, because he's taking so long to push. I think he's just making a lot of charge lots and Archons. So it's tempting to do other stuff, but I don't think we need to, guys. I think just Lings and Banes should do the trick. We send a Changeling across. We see Mass Gateway. I mean, yeah. It's only a matter of time till this attack comes in. We'll try to go for the Prism with the Queens and go for the big surround, making lots of Overlords behind this. Alright guys, because he's taking so long, his army could get big enough that it's going to cause us problems. So we're going to reset the rally points on each base and do one big round of drones. That's going to take us up to 66. We can now transfer workers onto these gases.
Our forces are under attack.
A few more drones. There we go. Inject, inject, inject. Oh, we should have gone Hydrogen. Remember, Hydrogen with the gases. I keep forgetting to do that. And behind it, all we're doing, more Lings, more Banes. Now, you could argue that was greedy, doing all of that. But because I'd already built so many units off of superior income, I feel like it's okay. Now, because this is going to be a frontal fight where the Banelings need to go after the Zealots, we're putting our Banelings on shift 3. So we're stealing those. Alt 3, I should say. Alt 3. And we're just going to keep making Lings and Banes. We'll try to make Hydras soon. We'll try to make Groove Spines, the defensive upgrade. The movement, higher priority if you're attacking, remember. We'll start making Hydras as well. And yeah, look at that, guys. As I said, here comes this big, big attack. And let's go for it. Banelings into the middle of the Zealots. Go, 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 go. Pull back, pull back. Banelings, Banelings in the middle of the Zealots. Go. Whoa! Alright, let's go. Alright, I need detection, guys. DT is actually causing me a lot of problems. Alright, making more Hydras, more Zerglings. We're going to pull into our main base. Alright, F2, A move. Drones, A move, drones, A move. He's clicked on the hatchery, he's not watching. Our drones are all stuck, so you can try to mineral walk those, but didn't get a chance to do it in time. So he kills my hatchery, but he loses his whole army for it. Ooh, what a game! This is really good, because stubbornly sticking to my build has showed us that that was really friggin' dumb. And this is always the thing, right? I'm always like, do I need to teach you guys the roach reaction yet? I think in Diamond 2 we do, and I think this game proves it. So, you might be wondering, Pig, what's the roach reaction? Well, the roach reaction is whenever your opponent's just doing any sort of big 2-base all-in, you just make roaches. That's it. Because roaches just make defending so much easier. Making more Hydras, making more Zerglings. We're going to get +1 range and +2 melee next. We've still got a good drone count as well, by the way. So if we want to play a longer game and go those upgrades, we should take a 4th base now, drone up our natural a little bit, and do all this stuff. Or we can just go counterattack. Counterattacking is probably a free win. But I do actually need to know if they've taken a 3rd. If they haven't taken a 3rd, I definitely shouldn't drone up too hard. Inject, inject, inject. A few more drones there. A couple more drones on minerals there. Not too many. Add to hatchery, add to hotkey, get those upgrades started that I was talking about. And is that a base? Yeah, okay, cool. So they're taking a base. No worries. All right. So that tells us we're safe. Lots of probes, plus a 3rd nexus and some batteries there. We've got both Hydra upgrades, and we're going to attack with +1 and +2 finishing. Okay, guys? So how many Hydras do we want? Maximum of about 20. We have 14, so we can build 6 more Hydras. Add those to our army. Nothing but Ling Bane from here. Now, of course, we could do some harassment. We can just go like Alt 8, run those in, see if we could just focus down some units, you know, some guys. Just don't overcommit to it would be the main thing. And, oh, look at that, guys. We see a Warp Prism coming, so our Hydras are going to go deal with that. And if they see your run by coming, it's fine. We'll just run it home. He's going to be paranoid. It's all good. Just add them back to our army key. Inject, inject, inject. And just make nothing but Banes. And we should be able to just roll them over. Now, Freddie Mercury do need to spread creep, but we've already done it. Let's spread that creep. I normally go right to left when I'm on this side. But what we can do, Freddie Mercury, queue up 5-10 injects across those 2 hatcheries. Nothing but lings. Inject, inject, inject. So notice after the early game chaos, what are we doing? We're trying to find a nice calm way to return to what we want. 20 Hydras, nothing but Ling Bane, and go, go, go. Upgrades are getting almost done, guys. So let's move forward. Oh, look at that. Zealot's trying to do a run there. So we're going to go over here and surround those with those guys. We'll do a 2-pronged attack. We try to collapse on the army, though. Remember, in ZVP, we don't want to let their army get too big. So we want to attack from 2 sides and split some units into their economy to make them kind of paranoid. But don't freak out too much over it. Alright, we're looking for these zealots. I'm trying to just make sure I'm clumped up when I fight them, guys. +2 melee is almost done. And these guys are here. Lots of Zerglings rallying down. Looks like he was thinking about taking that base and then gave up on it. So these guys are here, yeah. So these guys come from the left, these guys come from the right. Run away. I messed up your build. Yeah, you never made charge. Split some units in there. I can split some units in the main. So we just, as long as you click a few banelings in each mineral line, and then they'll naturally do some stuff. And you'll notice his whole army's coming back. We've already killed every single worker. We can click that base just to make sure that dies. And his Archons can fit through here. I'm going to F2 A move back home and shift that on my army queue. And what are we going to do, guys? We're going to rebuild a lot of Hydras. What do we got? And then just Lings and Banes. So we've killed his economy. He now has to counterattack us. I thought you'd remember it after the first attack. Apparently not. I was like, well, he forgot charge, but he'll have it for the next attack. Thing is, it still could have worked out because the Archon count was so good. Ooh, okay, run away, run away, run away. My Banelings aren't ready, guys. So let's just grab all of these Banes, put them on that separate army key. What we're gonna do, A move, and then try to get these Banelings into the middle of the Zealots. So I have to, you can see they're kind of stuck behind here. So I tried to move those Hydras to let them through. But we've just got too much stuff there. GG, well played. Cool, all right guys, so we just learned, why was that game so hard? Well, we droned up 3 bases versus a 2 base all in, just because it was delayed a little bit. Bad move. But against someone who's making lots of Archons, Lingbane just is not the answer. We can go Lingbane Hydra and get to the Hydras in time if they're on 3 base, but on 2 base we cannot. So, what should we do after defending all this DT aggression, which we came out way on top of, by the way? And you know why? It's because we built drones during it. Once we shut down those first DTs, we knew one DT would not do critical damage, and we droned up, so we had a nice 10 drone advantage. We started getting all of our tech. He's stuck on 2 base. I scouted Mass Gateway. I knew there was an all-in coming, guys. So all I need to do here, and all we need to do, is very, very simple, okay? How to adapt versus Protoss that doesn't take a third. And we just play Lingbane Ravager. That's our deals with anything. Roach Horn and make roaches and ravagers to complement your army. These counter Archons really well, which Banes suck against. Archons and Colossus quite well. Lingbane is still great versus Immortals and Zealots, etc. Right? But that's it. You just make those defensive roaches. So we just adapt our composition into Ravager Bane. What if I'm doing this, then they take a late third? Just play Ravager Lingbane as if it's Hydra Lingbane. That's it. Go do big attacks. The roaches and the Ravagers are cheaper than Hydras, even if they don't do as much damage. It's great. So roaches in general are a great safety unit. So roaches are in general an amazing early game safety unit. But blindly massing them does run into some big problems later in the game if we aren't able to take a good fight. So with this Ling Bane style, they're used as a reaction to help defend our economy lead and deal with the Archons specifically. Cool. If they're on pure Blink Stalker, there's really no need for anything but Ling Bane, right? But it's the Archon specifically that elicit this response for us. Now, Death Source, I think the main problem here was actually not spreading the Zealots. Forgetting the charge might not have been too bad if Death Source spread these Zealots out. That could have caused me so many issues. So many issues, right? Because that's an immense amount of Zealots. There's 24 Zealots, 6 Archons, 2 Immortals at 8.5 minutes. Whoa. So what you want to do here as the Protoss player is you want to control click the Zealots, click them backwards, and then you want to grab a few Zealots, move them here, a few Zealots, move them here, a few Zealots, move them here. So what you're doing is you're spreading them like Marines, and naturally then the Banelings can't really find efficient fights first. And instead, they all just stood in essentially a big ball. Luckily, they split at least on 2 sides of those Archons. So the Archons in the middle of them naturally made them not as big a clump, but like those ones there, those Zealots spread out, joined up with these Archons well. This could have been game over for me, absolutely. So, and these Archons were a very real problem because I'm rallying Zerglings and Hydras with a very fragile unit. So if Death Source kept warping in like Zealots and just gathering their units here in the natural, they would have been good. But Death Source bleeds into the main. So this is why you always see pro gamers pull their Archons back together. If they pull that Archon back together and then they kind of kill these Hydras and then go back that way and then go back that way, they keep cleaning up my rally and I'm just bleeding units in and dying. And then after they get a few more units together, then they can shove into the third and finish it, or shove into the main and finish it. But splitting their units up was the big problem, and that's why Death Source ended up losing this fight. I'm still in gold, so I apologize for the new question. Why is Roach Ravager a good go-to? So in that scenario, it was because our opponent wasn't taking a third. So we should probably put a timer for that actually as well. Like, what if that doesn't take a third by, let's say, 6 minutes, okay? Like, or we could say 6:30. It depends on your league and everything, right? So this is for Diamond 2. We're gonna say like, I don't know, let's say 6 minutes. I think 6 minutes is fine. And we can be like, okay, drop a Roach Horn and get Roaches out. And you should be able to get a bunch of Roaches out for any 7-minute or later timing, right? Any of these later timings where the Ling Bane might not be enough to handle it. But yeah, Roach Ravager is a very good defensive army. It's incredibly cost efficient. It's very lava efficient. It's tanky. It's cheap. The Ravagers can morph reactively when you see an army coming very quickly. So it's basically Roaches are just the best thing for beating pretty much any attack coming your way. Arguably, Immortals are very good versus them, but even versus Immortals, the right number of Roach Ravager does very well. So in this scenario, I think we explained it pretty well. You don't have an answer to Archons with Ling Bane. As that Archon count grows, it annihilates Ling Bane. Roaches beat Archons with a bit of micro. A little bit of kiting can be really good, but generally just having that ranged damage and the range advantage over the Archon will beat them. Alright guys, we're playing another ZvZ here versus Ultraman. Now, I feel like these last few games, it's been a lot, right? The ZvZ is thankfully still very simple, but I've been teaching you guys a lot more stuff. Don't get me wrong, I could probably still muscle my way through with some crisp 1-1 Ling Bane timings, but I have been trying to just kind of show you guys how we could play a bit more defensively with the Ling Bane and then go into those next units. Now, even like that last CVP game, I gotta be critical of myself, guys, because why didn't I backstab, right? Even just a bunch of Lings backstabbing the natural while that was happening would have been great. Because I'm kind of like talking you guys through some new stuff, you can see I'm like a little bit slow on it myself. I'm like, oh, slow to make this reaction or that reaction. All right, guys, that hatchery is a few seconds late. I accidentally sent the drone down late. So that's going to slow down my 2 queens. That weakens the build quite a bit. Don't underestimate how much small mistakes like that matter. It's like, you don't need to be like, oh, idiot. It's just, don't let it become a habit is the really big thing there. If you let it become a habit, it can get quite nasty. to say the least. Because that's going to slow down 2 queens, because I want to keep them synced, right? Which slows down my inject by a few seconds, and it does have a little bit of a spiral. That, oh, 12 pool drone pool. Oh, okay, 12 pool drone pool, guys. All right, we're going to try and distract with this drone, and then mineral walk at home. We already delayed those zerglings by a second, which is great. Don't build an overlord. So when you see this, guys, they're going to do some derpies. We can build evos here. Apparently that's a thing. I've seen Cyril do. I'm not going to do it. That's fancy and map specific. All right, we're going to build a queen, 6 zerglings, and 2 spines. His attack's really late. Super late. Another queen and more zerglings. And this is basically game over. We're just going to pull these guys. He's about 30 seconds late for some reason, guys. So, maybe not 30, maybe 10. But even 10 seconds late is an eternity with this sort of cheese. So this is really easy. Because normally those spines should already be almost finished at this point. But instead, my spines were miles earlier. Also, remember, my build naturally has an earlier spawning pool than a hatch gas pool. So we're naturally going to be safer than a lot of these. So we can just send the drones back to mining, inject. The queens can both go on the Freddie Mercury key and both A-move towards the Overlord to make sure we get that kill. Our Lings can counterattack. Yeah, you were late. What supply did you pull? It was slow. So 12 pool, 14 Overlord, then just Lings. And pool drones 5 seconds before Lings pop. Leave 3 drones mining at home. Build 3 spines immediately. Yeah, cancel the drone. Doesn't slow you down. Because you max on lava anyway with the 12 pool. So with a 12 pool at the start, you're saving up 200 minerals. So if you start a drone and then cancel it, by the time you start the spawning pool, you're back on 3 lava anyway. So it doesn't affect anything. A lot of people go, oh, it's really bad because then I'll lose the lava. The one exception is when you're 12 pooling. It's the one time where it does not matter to cancel that. I'll show you guys. So right here at the start. So he starts the drone. You see he's got 2 lava. If he cancels that, gets the 50 minerals back, he's still got 3 lava. Because you start with 3 lava on the hatchery. So, yeah. But to go over the response, guys, build a few spine crawlers. I think building it behind the mineral line is not a bad idea, just so it's further away to make sure it gets up. I decided to build it in the mineral line. And then essentially just, yeah, build Lings, build queens, and grab all your drones. Make sure you put them on a fighting hotkey. So notice I put my army. Did I actually hotkey them? Let's double check. I'm not sure if I control grouped them correctly, guys. Let's check. I did. So notice my main army is on 2, like it always is, but my drones are on 3, so I can easily micro them. So if he comes into my mineral line, I might pull all of my drones to this mineral patch, but then as he comes to attack this spine, I'll click them all on the top left mineral patch, and then A-move as my drones phase through their units to surround them. You can do that sort of stuff, and that can be really good. But essentially, you don't want to take like a direct fight versus all their Lings and all their drones together until after your Lings have popped. And then you want to make sure, hopefully, you want to think of it this way. The Lings are the damage dealers, and the drones are the tanks. This is a nice way to think of it. Why? You might be like, well, what are you talking about, you idiot pig? They're only 5 hit points. It's not a big difference. It is a big difference, because look at how low their life is. So it's a significant percentage. But more importantly, look at the Zergling damage compared to the drone damage. So you can see same damage, 5, but the Zergling attacks more than twice as quickly as the drone. So more than double the damage. So it's more about, compared to the damage output, the drones do piss all damage, right? And therefore you want to just use them to tank. So, for instance, if I have all my Zerglings here and they're surrounded by Lings and drones, that's really bad because I'm losing my damage output very quickly. They're all going to start dying. But if my Lings are all attacking, but they've got drones on my own friendly drones, so say I've got 4 Lings here, 5 drones here, 4 drones here, that's good because I've only got 2 drones attacking my 4 Lings. My 4 Lings are doing good damage without dying. So that's the best way to do it. So you want to always don't let your lings get surrounded. And that can be fantastic. All right, guys, we're going to a ZvP verse Cheezer. All right. So I think the games have been getting, you know, it's so much complexity when you learn a new composition, and we're doing it defensive, and the games have been looking pretty hard. But I want to remind you guys, the games don't need to be this hard. This is just kind of like what happens when you're learning something new. And I'm like explaining the basics of like, okay, we're going to take these gases and do this. Like, you're going to slow down a little bit, and you're going to find yourself in more awkward situations. And whilst I'm showing you guys how to win these situations, you will lose them. You're like, oh, I've just been doing nothing but Ling Bane. I don't know how to do this next step. You're going to lose a lot of games while you're figuring that out. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you taking some losses, some L's, and using those as a learning opportunity. Because if you're figuring out how to add Hydras every game and use that army, it's going to be a bit different. But what have we been missing? Backstabs. We haven't been doing many backstabs versus Protoss. We've got to start doing those. Leaving the counterattack squad ready on the map. This is what Ling Bane styles are all about. It's all about setting you up to be solid, you know, at doing run-bys and backstabs and all this sort of stuff. So that's the way, yeah. Yeah, L stands for learning. Take some L's, take some learnings. So remember, the Overlord goes here and then straight through the main. Try and see what's up behind this, guys. We're gonna go, oh, let's wait till the hatchery's finished. Once again, I started my hatchery late. Gotta pay attention, guys. Been a little disorganized in my openings. 2 queens, 4 zerglings. We can start pulling off gas. There we go. Nice. Keep loading drones here. So we've got an Overlord that'll go out front, Overlord out there, Overlord out there. We'll put an Overlord up the top as well in the near future. And we're going to see... Oh, Twilight Council again. Okay, cool. So our Overlord's just going to hide in the back. Stalker comes out, it might kill it. That's totally fine. Now, we want to send a Ling across the map. Remember, you send it to like the corner of the map and then through their main base. And then we steal that off. 2 more drones. Stalker's attacking it. Don't panic, guys. That's going to survive. If it starts attacking it when it's already on the edge, it's going to survive. That's the rule there. Start Latifah. Start that Overlord that I said we'd put up top, and go back to droning. Fantastic. Look at that, guys. Real clean opening after that delayed hatchery at the start. Everything's feeling pretty good. And because we know it's a Twilight, Freddie Mercury, second gas Bane Nest, all that real standard follow-up. No real adjustments. Build another Overlord up here. Tapping the drone key. Inject Lizzie, inject Cersei. Build more drones. That Ling was not able to get in, but that's totally fine. And we're going to send Lings to check for third bases and one in the middle to see if they move across. Build another Overlord here, another Overlord here. Put drones back on gas. Remember that first lava inject we want to do that with, so better to do that early rather than late. Let's change this rally point. We can go second gas, then Baneling Nest. No, we don't have the Baneling Nest yet. Tifa can move down. Inject Lizzie, inject Cersei. And build a few more drones. And 1 more Overlord. And we should be building Zerglings, remember. Why? Because 2 base saturation is when we do that. On gas, grab one of those and build the Bathing Nest. And there we go, fantastic. Looking pretty good, right? So we can also just grab a few drones from there, put in the main, fully saturated, rally to the third. We only built a few Zerglings before, so we're going to build a proper wave. And I would send the Overlord through for a scout, but since the Stalker's through there, we're not going to do that. Alright, so build 1 round of Zerglings. Awesome. Build some Overlords. That should keep us safe against any generic pressure. Now remember, DTs could be an option. So you want to build DTs at 4 minutes 20. I'm building them at like 4:40, so I'm a little bit late on it to be safe. That one also didn't start. We also can just poke up the rev. Like, what are we seeing? Let's send a new Ling to replace it. But what's this guy going to see? Oh my god. Okay, because I was about to build some drones and stuff, but we're going to be building nothing but Zerglings. Now we'll put the safety Roach Warren down, but more importantly, just make Banelings. Let's get this back. We can cancel the spores as well. Oh, I didn't do it in time. And what are we going to do, guys? Banes are all on a hotkey. Our queens are here. Alright, there we go. I think the Banes should be finishing in decent enough numbers. Notice we put the Banelings on a separate key, and we're just clicking them in towards the Zealots. I haven't A-moved once. Now I'll A-move because they were pumped on those 3 Zealots. I'm building more Zerglings, And we're gonna chase with the banelings just by move commanding. Inject, inject, inject. Let's make more banelings. Control click, shift 3. Good thing I decided to scout. So, because I was like, hey, what's going on, guys? Like, my opponent hasn't really done that much. I don't know what they're up to. Now, we could counterattack and kill them, but I'm 3-base there too. I shut their army down. I've got banelings, a lot of them in lings. We're safe. We don't need to. So what are we going to do, guys? We're going to try and drone our third. Okay. And we're also going to take a gas on that third, just for simplicity's sake. We're also going to try double Evo. But we don't have enough for a macro. So we'll build a few more drones to replace the one in the main. Another drone there, because we want those both on 16. And we'll build 3 drones for the gas. That's greedy, what we just did, okay? That's greedy. We also missed an inject on the third, so we just did it then. And he is coming again. Okay, keep making veins, keep making veins. But the reason I did that is I wanted to ensure I have an economic lead. And that only takes me to 51 drones, which is not that big an economic lead, right? All right, these banelings are getting some big juicies, guys. So I think that's good enough to where our Zerglings can overwhelm, especially with the extra banelings coming in from behind. Woo! Just keep making these. And at this point, I'm very curious because it feels like the number of zealots, he might be as low as 32 workers, which means I'm on an 18 worker advantage, which is massive. So we're going to start a melee upgrade, a macro hatch. Notice I can't afford both macro hatcheries at once. Because I'm having to make so many banelings, I'm really gas starved. So we're going to make a few more drones for minerals, one more for the gas, or one more round of drones for the gas. And then just keep making these guys. Now let's send some more Zerglings out, see if he's taking that third yet. We want him to take a lair and the carapace. So carapace is starting. Inject, inject, inject. Oh, round 16 of attack coming. Okay, I'm trying to build lings, but I'm supply blocked, guys. We'll make the lair now. Come on. I think I should. Didn't I start an overlord? Oh god, maybe not. Alright, banelings in the middle. A move, because they were in the middle, then give them a move command. A move. Nope, move command. Keeps backing away. Trying to make as many Zerglings as we can. And the banelings are just always move commanding behind the zealots. Not on the zealots, behind the zealots, guys. Alright, so let's surround this, shall we? So I moved past to surround, but it looks like, I think he's sending some zealots across the map. We saw some zealots heading north. Inject, inject, inject. Build Zerglings. And I built a roach horn, so I could build roaches as well. We're going to grab some Zerglings to check this base. So Alt 7. Notice I used shift click. We're just going to move them down there. Everything else, make more Banes, make more Lings. Yeah, he's up there. So we'll move these guys nearby to deal with that. He still doesn't have a third base. So these guys can just come on home, join up with my army. And... oh yeah, A-move the Banes. So we A-move and then we go back to giving them move commands. Remember, we want the banelings only detonating on big clumps of zealots. Nothing else. Inject, inject, inject. Build a few more drones for that base. That'll bring us to 54, or in fact, 60, I guess, because we have extra gases this game. And baneling speed is on the way. And +2. So we don't need anything but Ling Bane because he's building nothing but zealots. We could always use that, but since we're already in this situation, why not just take the gases? So let's go build the drones for the gas. Build the drones for the gas. Now you're going to notice I only got 1 macro hatch this game. I didn't hotkey it. I also didn't build a 4th or 5th base. So let's build those. Now, the reason there's no urgency is I've been on 3 base, he's been on 2 this whole time. So why would I have urgency? There's no need. We can send some drones to the natural, shift click down to 4, send the rest to the 4th. Just cancel that if we need to, which we do, and rebuild it. Alright, so we're going to leave a pack of guys up here, guys, since he's clearly going to keep doing zealot run-bys. So I'm anticipating there's going to be zealots attacking down here very soon. And that's something that's quite obvious if you think about it. Your opponent's... there's a pattern, right? It's like, he's like, hey, I got to do zealot run-bys to win this game, and that's basically it. Building lots of overlords. Let's get some Hydra movement speed and then groove spines. Build some Hydras. And this should be such an easy game because his third base is just coming up. Even if he gets some Storm or some Colossus, he's going to have so few actual units to back it up, but it just doesn't matter. So, yeah, he's trying to make like cannons and stuff, but we're just down here. The top army can also A-move along the edge, so it should catch any zealot run-bys, and we're going to attack the natural with that while we attack the third from up here, okay? And there's no need to wait, guys, even though I've got Hydras on the way and all that good stuff, and that's nice. And I probably should have gone range instead of carapace. That's fine. So these guys are just going to try to click in the natural, and then these guys are just going to A-move, and we're going to click the banelings in the mineral line. Remember, banelings always try to move into the mineral line. Or actually, click on that cannon if we can. Blow up those zealots. It's a good enough clump of zealots. Now, click in the mineral line. A-move. Click on the pylon maybe. Yep. Click on those zealots. Go back to move commanding. You can A-move on the sentries. That's a high-value target. Remember, guys, you ladies out there, find yourself a high-value target. You got to lock that shit down. That's apparently how banelings think, guys. They want to marry them with their asses. GGG. All right, cool. Very scary attack from my opponent. A lot of zealots being massed. Good thing we decided to scout to check what was going on, and that's what's going to be so much more important. Is my game frozen? Whoa! What just happened? It's so laggy. So, did my opponent pull off gas in their main? Oh! Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Was I not paying attention to my overlord? I was not, guys. I just assumed my overlord didn't notice that. But no, it must have flown right past that. Oh, God. Silly piggy. This was blatant, guys. Oh, my God. We missed a very important piece of scouting information here. When this overlord flew through, guys, wouldn't mutas be super good versus zealots? Yeah, too far down the tech tree, though. You need a lair and then a spire. So you've already shut it down by that point. Your opponent's already going to be transitioning into what count as Ling Bane. What's that? Archons, probably. Stuff like that. Archons are pretty decent versus mutas. So, we saw at this point the lack of the second gas. And that's a huge tell that my opponent is incredibly mineral focused, guys. Which already points us towards Mass Zealot. So, even at this point, there was actually a tell. I actually thought they went double gas and then pulled workers off gas after mining enough for, like, you know, charge in the Twilight and a few things. But in fact, this was a 1 gas. So this should have been 35 probes. 16 on minerals, 16 on minerals, and 1 gas. Let's take a look. Let's see. But they actually didn't even probe. Look at this, guys. He actually took a big gap in probing to get his gateways started super duper early. Wow. Wowzers. And then goes for, it appears to be a 7 gate. Nope, there goes the 8. So it's an 8 gate zealot attack. As I said, 35 probes. You can see he built 1 extra. That's a very big attack. He's even adding a 9th and maybe a 10th gateway, which is going to be just an immense amount of zealots coming across this map. So let's talk a little bit about Twilight openings now that we're in Diamond 2. Normally, Protoss players, what they're going to do off a Twilight opening is hit you with either Adepts from about 4 minutes 40 onwards, 4 minutes 40 to 5:30, or Charge Zealots in that time window. Usually with Charge Zealots, people do it more as like a big all-in like this, where there's no gas, there's no tech, there's no follow-up. It's just Charge Zealots or die trying, right? There's no Forge, there's no extra sentries building up energy, there's no Robotech, there's no Templar Archives, there's none of that good stuff that gives them longevity in the game, right? This is like, I need to kill you right here, right now. And against this, if you know this is coming, it's totally okay to just do nothing but build Ling Bane off where I'm at right now. 2 mineral lines, 2 gases. Now you might think, don't you need a bigger economy than that? Having just 2 bases of minerals versus 2 bases of minerals feels bad versus Protoss. If they're building Colossus, sure. But if they're building the most basic unit in the game that Lings and Banes counter, like Lings don't counter it, but the Banelings do. So as long as you have enough Ling Bane, you will get really good positive fights, and that's going to win you the game. All you need to do is stop his all in, because the moment you defend, you can drone your third and get further ahead, and that's exactly what we did in this game, right? So if your opponent, so we naturally are kind of safe against these pressures because we always build 1 big round of Lings at 2 base saturation, right? And we're going to stick with that, just a good safe timing. But specifically in this sort of scenario where you're like, okay, there's a Twilight build, but he hasn't, remember we were building Spores. And I was like, wait, well, we haven't seen a Warp Prism come out. We haven't seen Dark Templar. I probably should have been checking for proxies and definitely sending Lings in to try and just see, like, what's your army look like? What's at the front? Like, what's going on in this game? And we saw a lot of Zealots, and that was huge. Because if we didn't have these Banelings pre-morphed, we would have been in trouble. We actually probably should have built these Banelings even a little earlier here. Probably should have been the first response before Roach Warren Zergling production. Because I went Roach Warren, Zergling production. We didn't really need that Roach Warren, not against pure Zealot. Obviously, it would have been nice to get a pack of Roaches together, because they're really good at shooting down the Zealots. The Zealots need to really clump up to deal with the Roaches. They really need to collapse on them, which is very bad against Banelings. So if you've got Banelings defending Roaches, Zealots just can't do anything against it. Like, it's so bad. So I definitely should have added some roaches in at some point, probably after shutting this first wave down, guys. And could have even just said, let's go for a roach bane counterattack and not drone at all. Because we got such good fights, remember, I did kind of go, hey, let's drone up a little bit. So I went from being actually down on workers here because I built the spore crawlers, so 36 workers. First 36, dead even, which a lot of players would say, you know, that's bad, but perfectly fine against Mass Zealot. And then I went, you know, he's still building Zealots, so it looks like he's still going, but I feel safe having so much Ling Bane out. I can squeeze one big round of drones. So I built like 9-10 drones here, took one more gas, because we are spending a lot of gas on Banelings. I even tried to squeeze the double Evo in, which is very greedy. But like I said, I want to be sure that I'm ahead. So if he doesn't attack, I've got those things going. If he does move out to attack, we just keep massing Ling Bane. And that's exactly what we did here. Notice I pulled the Zerglings back to let the Banelings get in the middle of those Zealots. So if the Zealots are all really well spread out, what you can do is you can run backwards. And if they move forwards with their army, the Zealots are going to clump up again. So watch that one more time, guys. So watch this, because it didn't look too good for my Banelings, because my Zerglings kind of blocked them. But if I pull back my Zerg, because my Banelings would naturally be stuck and they'd start going around the sides. If I pull my Zerglings back, my Banelings can get right in the middle for what we call the big juicy. Bam, bam, bam. We get a few juicy Banelings off. And he's like, oh god, get out of there. But you can see the Banelings getting in the middle of those Zealots. Remember, whenever the Banelings are in good position, I A-move them. And then as soon as they're not in a good position or they've already killed the Zealots in the big clump, go back to move commanding. Because the moment you just A-move, your Banelings will blow up on individual units and suddenly you don't have any Banelings, 10 more Zealots come in and they ruin your day. So you've really got to make sure you use those Banelings effectively. This is why in ZvP especially, there's a lot of scenarios where we put those Banelings on a separate control group when we're focusing on just one battle. If you don't have them on a separate control group, try to just quickly, if you've got your army selected like this, guys, what you want to do is you just want to go control click and then start microing them like that. That's the, if you haven't had time to set up the control groups, you just want to do that. Yeah. So this was essentially an all-in attack. So how could Cheezer have made this better? Like I said, Cheezer could have proxied, hidden a proxy in the corner. So then I wouldn't have even seen the Zealots move out. I would have just seen Zealots arrive at my third base, and it would have been a way worse situation. So you don't want to put it too close to the Zerg base, maybe down here, somewhere on kind of like a corner edge of the map, just to hopefully miss the Zergling scouts and that sort of stuff, and the vision outside the base would be huge. Instead of sentries, wouldn't it have been better for him to get +1 attack? Well, he doesn't have a forge. I mean, he was dead either way at that point. +1 is amazing for Zealots versus Zerglings, but it wouldn't have actually mattered because I actually was going Carapace. So assuming my Carapace kicks in, it cancels out +1 attack. Completely. You might as well not have an attack upgrade. But yeah, +1 helps Zealots versus Zerglings. The thing is, Zealots already do pretty well versus Zerglings. So the problem with +1 in general, if you're doing a big 2-base all-in, is you're investing in making your counter to their Lings more of a counter. But it doesn't do anything to deal with Zerglings, and it doesn't help that much versus Roaches either. It helps a bit versus Roaches, but not that much. So it's more important to hit a sharper, harder, more surprising timing, and to disguise that timing, which is why Cheezer definitely should have had a wall off in this game on the natural, shouldn't be walling off in the main, and that'd make their life a lot better as well. Should we have stopped Cheezer from taking the third after? Like I said, we could have just committed to like Roach Bane and counterattacked, but I was kind of, you know, doing this systematic thing, like defend attack, focus on economy and build for a little bit, defend attack, focus on economy and build, and like if he ever stopped attacking for a little bit longer and wasn't so active with the Zealots, we would have had more APM and attention, and our counterattack would have happened earlier. But it was specifically slowed down because those Zealot run-bys kept coming in, those Zealot attacks, and that's okay. It basically just pushed our priorities a little lower. If we were to focus purely on counterattacking and building units, it probably could have worked, but we wouldn't have had things like upgrades coming in behind it or the extra drones. It would have been more of a commitment towards, I gotta kill you now, or I really want to kill you now, which is not bad in of itself. It's just a different focus in the heat of the moment, and both are perfectly fine. It really depends what you prefer to focus on. All right, guys, going into a ZvP. This one's versus someone who's a little bit lower, more in the upper Diamond 3 range, Boolia. It is a Zerg versus Terran game. Which is good. We haven't had too many Terrans today, but always good to get a few more ZVTs in here. I haven't had a chance versus Bio yet, right, to show off Infestors, so we wanted to do it, but sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you just don't get that much of a matchup, or the games you do get is versus Mech, like we had earlier today, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, guys, we'll go for that drone scout. take a little looky around. And then, of course, send this drone down there. No late hatchery this game. Overlord's going to sit outside our base. Our other Overlord, of course, will go across and just sit over there. Maybe check the command center. Get the hatchery down on 17. Super standard. Set that rally point and keep building drones. Very nice. All right. So we get the gas, we get the spawning pool, those 2 drones like we always do, guys. Obviously, I'm playing a bit faster now we're in Diamond 2, and it's kind of funny because Diamond is such a vast league. I feel like a Diamond 3 and a Diamond 1 player are 2 completely different beasts.
My man!
Diamond 3 compared to like low Diamond 3 compared to high Diamond 1 is massive. And this is why every single league, Diamond 3, Diamond 2, Diamond 2, Diamond 1, are all massive promotions that take a lot of hard work for players to get to. So much like any skill, it might be pretty quick and feel pretty rewarding to get your white belt. But then your yellow belt is obviously going to take a little bit of work. You know, still pretty quick. But then your purple belt or whatever it is, you're like, okay, that took a bit more work, but you know, I'm still improving really quickly. And then anything past that is like just, it feels like a ridiculous slog. You're like, man, am I stupid? Am I not improving that fast? And it's like, no, you're better at the thing now. And once you're better at anything, that improvement just slows down. That's just the way it is. Ooh, pulled these guys off gas a little bit early, guys. Meant to wait till you're on 88 gas before you pull those off. Let's take that 3rd base, and you also want to mine the minerals open just with a single drone on this map, okay? Now, I actually saw a Marine, not a Reaper, so I know my Lings can poke across. We'll move them outside the base, and then maybe poke in, see if we can kill a Marine or something like that. My man! Thank you very much for the support there. Appreciate the sub, dude. Alright, so we're still building drones. We inject Lizzie, inject Cersei, and then start our 3rd base. Add to hotkey, send to the camera location, all that good stuff. We start Latifah, and of course, an Overlord. These Overlords out a little bit. Overlord out that left side, very nice. Keep droning. All right, so we can poke in with these Lings. If that Marine's just sitting here, we can kill it. I'm not going to do anything else, guys. We're just going to back off because I know this is Bullia's off race. So I'm going to do something. I normally obviously commit those Lings, see if you can get an SCV or 2. Get in there, do some damage. But I don't want to get too easy of a win in this game. Bullia's obviously a pretty good player, and he is actually the rank he's meant to be. But because he's an off-race player, where his builds are going to be a little bit less refined, Terran players that are off-racing are famously bad at defending random pressure that catches them off guard. Myself included. We tend to fall apart, so I don't want the rest of the game to be like basically won by a few Zerglings running in at the start. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm going to build a few more Zerglings just to chase these off for now. We're also going to immediately make these 2. We're going to conscript Cersei and Latifah into Freddie Mercury. Inject, build a few more drones. Let's get 2nd gas Baneling Nest, change the rally point. Okay. So we want to go Queen, that's Freddie Mercury building, except no it's not, it's the new Cersei Latifah. We want to bring Freddie Mercury forward. We've got those 16 Zerglings. Do we have enough drones? Well, yeah, we'll build 3 drones for the gas, we'll build a drone for the minerals, we'll click those on the base. Remember, we only do that when we're fixing the saturation. Now, what we're getting used to here is the Hellion Dance. You might be wondering, what's the Hellion Dance? Well, the Hellion Dance is basically moving Freddie Mercury to wherever the hell... Oh god, to wherever the Hellbats are. Run away, run away, run away. So when you see Hellbats, guys, build a Spine Crawler. You're going to send your Lings across the map for an A move. Try and build as many Queens as we can. So we've just queued up like 4 Queens. We're putting all these Queens on our defense key, our Freddie Mercury key. So we've got 5 there. And we're building more Zerglings, and we're replacing our hotkey. So those guys that we A-moved across the map, we're not looking at them, we don't have the APM for it. Alright, let's go for the medevac, guys. We don't want to lose this base. We've got to build Overlords because we're supply blocked right now. And against this, you want to pull back. You want to spread your Queens out like this. Now, the Lings are really bad versus the Hellbats, but I felt like I just need to go in and fight here. If you can get on top of the Marines and away from the Hellbats, that's the dream. And by pulling back, the Hellbats are never doing splash damage. That's the whole thing. And by A-moving Lings across to distract him, you intercept the rally of Hellions, at the very least, and potentially just force their attention away a little bit. That's the whole point. 4th base, 5th base, double Evo chamber, lair. And do we have drones on each base? Let's take her off the defense key. So remake control group 4. Hold that drone key down. Okay. So we've got that base, this base, and we can rally them all to our third. Build a few drones to rally in the main. Add to hotkey. And that was Mech, right? Yeah, we saw multiple factories. So let's build that roach warren I was talking about. And that means if it's Mech, we want only the attack upgrades, remember. Alright. Alright. Now, if you watch pro play, they always split their queens in 2 different locations on 2 different keys. And you guys should absolutely do this every game. Just kidding, guys. You're not pro gamers. Just having one control group of queens and try to use your overlord vision. If you see the Hellions coming from one side, A, move your queens there. You see them coming to the other side, A, move your queens there. And use those Zerglings as your stopgap. You know, if they run past, they're gonna help you out. We want to get Baneling speed now. And did we drone the gases? I don't think we did, so we're going to drone those gases. We also want these gases. So remember, if we're playing the Roaches, the Ravages, and the Banelings, we need a lot more gas. That's going to get us to 66 drones. Well, technically we need a few more. There we go, that'll do it. And, oh, so those queens, which we built a lot of queens. So our Freddie Mercury key is very healthy now. Oh, our Baneling nest was ready. We actually should have made Banelings when we saw that Hellbat. I was so surprised by the Hellbat timing because it was so early that he morphed the Hellbats. I actually forgot that you actually have a Baneling nest insanely fast with the build we're doing. Because normally when I play at my level, I never have a Baneling nest this quickly. So it actually caught me way off guard. We could have used Banelings. We didn't need to counterattack with the Zerglings, though that ended up being a game-winning maneuver. And you still always should do that with any excess Zerglings that can't turn into Banelings. So it just might have been a few less Zerglings counterattacking. Alright guys, inject, inject, inject. Making roaches right now. And of course, overlords. You can see we're pretty close to our supply gap. So every 100 minerals that comes in, I'm holding that overlord key down. Let's get one more. Click them in the back. And we want roach speed. Add these hatcheries to our hotkey. We are still on 66 drones or thereabouts. And as he moves out, we can just go ahead a big time. Because we know we're far ahead, guys. We've got 1-1 Bane speed. We might not have roach speed, so you might think, well, why would you attack with that roach speed? But we can turn all the roaches into Ravages, and that'll be just as good. We can also make Banelings now. More Zerglings. Now you can see he's there. We can send a few Zerglings just as a little run by. So we just grab a few, Alt 7, and just A-move them there. Why? Because we see his Hellions are on this side of the map, so we shouldn't really be in position to defend. Now this is where you can just A-move at him, or you can actually split your army up and come from 2 sides. Make sure he can't escape. There we go. So no escape for these guys. Beautiful. What's that? Oh, he's doing a Thor drop. Okay, let's move across the map, guys. Our queens can defend that down here. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to do something very special. We're going to build a lot of roaches, and we're going to shift 4. So they're going to go on the Freddie Mercury key. So the Freddie Mercury key is going to become a defense key. Just for now. We'll remove those units from it later, okay? And there we go. We can run in now with our big timing with Ravagerling Bane. Move the Ravagers in. Remember, always try to just box the units that aren't doing their job. Those guys are just attacking depots. And if he comes in here, we've got all the queens and all these roaches popping out, all on this defensive key. If you want, we could have put these roaches on number 3 instead. But I figure there are scenarios where I do this even in an actual game where I'm like, we'll just chuck them all together to make it just so it's one key. So I don't have to go, if he drops here, queens move here, roaches move here. He drops back up there, queens move there, roaches move there. So a cute thing you can do, like I said, is just add those together. You can see there's 24 keys, and you're just like, oh yeah. You just A-move the roach queen. And then what about when you defend? This is all, but you've messed up your queen key. No, I haven't. All you need to do, control click the roaches, shift 2. Or alt 2, I should say. Alt shift 2. Obviously, if you use control group stealing by default, it's easier. That's something I've only talked about in passing. Alt shift 2 is what you should be doing there. If you want to add it to your army key, and you'll notice now the queen pre-pop key is completely separate. Alright, so let's go back. Was my Baneling nest ready? Because that was a pretty crisp Hellbat timing, guys. Yeah, he morphed Hellbats crazy early. So if he A-moved these units forward immediately, that would have actually been, I think, a better way of doing it. Pulling back there to wait for the Marines was a mistake. If he just continues in, it gives me less time to get organized, because this is such a fast timing, it's really good. Unfortunately for him, he built his wall off with an opening, I believe, there, and this is definitely not a wall off as well. It's a giant opening there. I think, yeah, Lings can squeeze in on every single side, so. Yep. Very common for an off-race player. But I could have actually made a Baneling Nest, right? Let's check. What time did the Baneling Nest finish? Yeah, it was finished soon after he arrived, so I definitely should have been pulling back and making some Banelings. And then you want to just roll your Banelings in a separate control group into the middle of the Hellbats while your Queens and deal with everything else. But yeah, sending Lings for a backstab is always good, because if they are rallying Hellions out, they often get caught by these Zerglings. Case in point, there you go. And you don't need to micro it at all. You just focus on the front. Technically, you could flank with the Zerglings, come from this side, and then try to come in and surround the Marines. But if you clump up on the Hellbats do a fat cone of splash damage, you're going to get wrecked. So notice we pulled the Queens back. We tried to focus the medevac, but I didn't want to stay clumped too long at the front, taking all those Hellbat shots. So I backed away from it. So if the medevac comes too far forward, go for it. But there, I was like, no, pull back. I notice I'm just individually expanding backwards in an ever-expanding arc, and that's always the micro you do, Queens versus Hellbats. If the medevac was further forward, I would have tried to focus fire it as well, but it was always in a position where I was like, yeah, like here I could probably grab these 3 Queens and click on it, but I figured screw it, we probably don't need to. And as long as you're pumping lots of Queens behind it and stuff, you're good. I also could have moved this Spine Crawler down as well. But yeah, we could have had a few Banelings morphing, and then we would have shut those Hellbats down twice as hard. This was a really quick Hellbat timing. You're very rarely going to face it so early, and against larger numbers of Hellbats, the Banelings will be even more essential. And should I be using a camera location for creep? Yeah, it's a waste of a camera location. Scarlett's experimented with it heavily. She says she never found a way to make it worth it. Like it never improved her speed. You know, there'd be like one spread that feels really good, but then you're resetting a camera location, and she said it just doesn't feel that great. Alright guys, playing a Zerg vs Zerg yet again. So that 14th drone, send it to scout. And then back to mine from our natural in this matchup, because we don't have the gas in the main. 3rd base over there, 4th base over there. Holding down that drone key. One of these guys goes to take out expansion. Super normal. Raiding Kid chilling yesterday was hilarious. Oh yeah, I did not realize he had his whole stream boomed out, you know? Boomed out. It was really fun. You guys should check out Kid Chillin', a small StarCraft Twitch streamer who lets you basically ruin the stream just by typing things in chat. You can make all sorts of crazy stuff pop up on their stream. It's good fun, good fun. All right, guys, let's get that spawning pool on 17 for once. Actually remember the 17 pool for the first time ever. So that's a 12 pool. And it looks like he was going for an expansion there, guys. We're just going to check for the gas one more time before we come home. Yeah, so it looks like a 12 pool. Now, a 12 pool with no gas, I actually think my build kind of counters. Because... Wait. Oh, is that just a pool first? No, but I went... Huh. Oh, maybe it is just a 16 pool. Never mind, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Lings should have already been coming out otherwise. It's a similar hatchery timing either way, but the fact that obviously he's building drones in a gas means even if it was like a 14 or 15 pool, because it does feel a little, it does feel too early. Okay, so he is going to build some Zerglings, but I think it's just like 6 Lings. So we're just going to build our own 6 Zerglings. That plus our Queen's building should make us completely solid here, completely fine. We've got another Overlord coming out, and we should be all good. All good in the hood. It's all good in the hood. All right, we're going to build one more Overlord soon. Pull the drone back. All right. Thought he would target the drone. I guess I didn't really get a chance to. Okie dokie. So we can go scout with these Lings if we want, guys. I think we will, since they're not the most useful units. Oh, it's not 36 supply yet. All right. We can try and push that Queen back a little bit. All right, now we're at 36. So take the double gas, take the spine. Let's try and get these guys in, see what we see. Just to get context on what we're playing against. We can bring that Queen back and spread creep in a little bit. And what do we got? Evo Chamber, that's interesting, guys. and 2 Evo chambers. Okay, so we'll just click on 2 drones, see if we get some damage, and then just let them die. That's fine. Inject, inject. Put guys on gas. Put other guys on gas. Cool. This is Latifah. She'll spread a creep tumor, but she'll do it from nice and far back so it doesn't block the wall off. Grab 3 drones for the wall off guys. Now we probably could skip this because we saw a very defensive setup in 2 Evo chambers. We're not going to because that's a pretty advanced reaction and it's not like we save that much money anyway. So more important to do this. Remember at 100 gas we want to go left. Inject, inject. Move the spine crawler forward. Keep building drones, keep building drones, keep building overlords. And you can see no ling speed at 4 minutes means our opponent has skipped ling speed. But double Evo chamber, they could go melee, carapace, and then go ling speed for masses of zerglings. If you're really unsure what your opponent's doing, guys, it's totally okay to just sacrifice an overlord. That's what we're going to do. We're going to sacrifice this one because I don't want to give up any vision outside my opponent's base. Just going to do it that way, okay? Oh, 3rd gas goes down with the lair, guys. Sorry, big mistake for me. I forgot that. My bad. Inject, inject. Nothing but roaches and overlords from here. A few more overlords around my base. And yeah, you can... A lot of people forget you can overlord sacrifice in this matchup. I get it. Now, there's a gap in vision there. He could have flooded units out on. So that's why we're moving our overlords. Because this one's a bit damaged. So this overlord has to move forward to kind of cover the entrance. And what's that, guys? It's a baneling nest and queens. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Roach speed's on the way. Lots of roaches building. Now, because that gas was a bit late, guys, I might need to take a 4th gas as well. I think we do. Put a few more overlords. I'll start the gas anyway, just in case. And the queen can move out. The spine can move out. Put some roaches over there in case some lings come in to cancel it. Opponent's taking a 3rd as well, so that's all good. Latifah can move over. Now, if I just attack the overlord, it'll get away. But if I move to the other side and then attack it, I'll chase it towards creep. Inject, inject. Build roaches. So it looks like I didn't really need that gas, did I, guys? Let me see. There we go. He'll get away, but that's all right. Okie doke. Look at that, guys. That's full wall off. It's coming with mass lane. These units all here, all here. So notice we're just trying to hug in nice little choke point positions. Get to the gap. All right, we'll try to defend that 3rd base. And I Evo walled off, so you can see his units are kind of bugging out there, yeah. I'm going to make this a really thick choke point, guys. And that's just going to make it really hard for lings to get in. So if you guys ever see someone going mass lane, remember we saw double Evo, we were already thinking about this. It's the way to deal with it, okay? Now we're going to make an overseer, and we're going to try and get through, because if there's a spire, I need to push before that comes about. And if there's not, then I can wait, because I got to be worried about a base trade. So let's finish saturating these bases. Drones for the gas, drones for the minerals. And we see drones coming out, so he's macroing right now. Which definitely tells me I might want to push. We'll drop a changeling. Lots of drones. Okay. So I'm going to keep building roaches, I think. Is there a spire here? We don't know if there's a spire, but there's a finished lair, which means there could be. And he's building like 40 spines and a spire. Okay, yeah, we got to go. All right, guys. Nothing but roaches. And this is where we also want to go into carapace, +2 range. So we want to at least kill his 3rd base and be able to be good behind it. Now, we've got roaches, which are going to sit at home and defend. Now, you might wonder why. Why would you defend? Well, because he's going to backstab with lings. So all the new roaches are just sitting at home. Told you guys. Because we can't kill all those spines, but we can kill the 3rd base, and we can drone up. Maybe we can kill it, actually. Let's try to run past the spine, see if we can. This is great. All right. Oh no, he actually overwhelmed me? Oh my god. Oh, this is bad, guys. All right. I really thought that roach count would be enough because there were so many spines. Oof, oof, this is a problem. I'm gonna build some queens. It's making a few banelings in my base, but I think we're dead. All Alright, maybe, maybe not.
Our forces are under attack.
Alright, we're gonna go across the map with roaches to buy time. We're also gonna pull our overlords home.
The hive cluster is under attack. Mineral field depleted.
Alright, looks like we already fought some guys. Splitting the roaches up in case he's taking his base on the left. I want to deny both in one go. Alright, we're gonna try and retake the third. Now, I don't have any queens, which is a huge problem, guys. We've got, like, very few queens. So, we're injecting right now. We're trying to rally drones to that base.
Our forces are under attack.
And we're trying to just make sure his third's tonight. We're going to run home with our roaches. Because it takes very good muta micro to actually hunt them down. And we're also going to get +2 carapace. Because carapace... Oh, did not mean to North Ravages. That's a mistake. Carapace ruins them. Now, this is actually... Infestors are the counter to mutiling. So we can try to make infestors here, but you don't want to make Hydras if you're in a really behind position, because Hydras are I'm ahead unit that can go and kill them with a timing. You guys remember I was talking about this before. Let's uproot those spores.
Must keep our forces under attack.
Oh shit. Okay. Interesting. Ooh, all the overlords back. I'm going to move that spore crawler up there just to fill that kind of gap there. And then we can put a spore crawler here as well. So we're just making sure there's no openings, guys. And we're going to make a few infestors here, but got to be careful. So we're going to make... So we've got all the queens on our defense hotkey, by the way. No queens are just on injecting duty. This is a desperate situation which calls for desperate measures. So there we go. We've got 5 infestors on the way. So that's what you want to do. If you want to make a comeback versus mutas, you need infestors. You've got 3 guys for gas. You guys for minerals? Right, so now that the stuff is back, we can go like that. We can spread some roaches across, making sure like veins can't get in or anything like that. And we want to hold that drone key down for this third base, okay? Just hold that down. So we're doing the injects like dark, which is we basically just have all queens on one control group. And then we just queue injects across the bases. And then whenever there's units, like mutas, we just pull all the queens to the front. This is an emergency setup. It's not something you should ever really do in an ideal scenario. So we're going to get our +2 ranger, +2 carapace. We're also going to go hive and lurker den. So lurkers beat anything on the ground, guys. We lost our hydra den, so we need to rebuild that. And vipers will beat mass muta. But we don't know what he's up to, so that's why we're going to try and send this changeling in. Very hard to scout, so we'll try and scout around the back as well. Is it ultras? Is there a hive? What's going on? So he's building spores. Is he going his own lurkers? You know, there's a lot of questions about what the follow-up is here that have not been answered, and that's going to be lurkers. So he is going for his own lurkers. Okay, cool. So that means I need to get a lot of gas up and a 4th base. So let's try and take this 4th over here. Let's try and spread some creep.
Under attack.
Okay, we can try to grab some of these like extra spores and move those out there. Try to put some overlords out there. We'll get that lurker den started. Try and make hydras just so we have some mobile fighting units in anti-air. Can try to send just a few roaches around the back for a counterattack. That's still a lot of mutas, guys. That is a lot of mutas. Okay, I was not expecting quite so many. Building a lot of overlords here. Interesting. So we're going to have to try and creep towards that 4th base. Or, hopefully those roaches distract him well enough. And we can kind of just do it this way.
Our forces are under attack.
Alright. Yeah, maybe. Alright, we've got 5 vipers now, guys. So our infestors will F2. The infestors are on my secondary spellcaster control group. You could just chuck them on your main army if you want. But I'm just going to leave them kind of spread around my bases, like that.
We must place that unacceptable command.
And mostly over here. We're going to queue injects, and then queue back to the front. And what you need to do here, in this scenario, is way beyond this level. It's like very hard to do well. but I'm going to try and do it slowly and explain what I'm doing. So a few people were like, why are you doing the incorrect thing in these games? Wouldn't it be better to just show the correct thing? I think we would have lost this game already because we didn't commit hard enough with our roach attack. Like the moment we saw the spines building, or if we just committed to the attack super hard no matter what, it might have worked. But once we hesitated and then didn't have enough roaches to defend the third, that was the big mistake. If we built more roaches to defend the third, it would have been okay. But because we didn't, we're in big troubles. Alright guys, we're trying to make lurkers right now. We've got both lurker upgrades queued. You need overseers at all times. So we're going to put one on our overseer key, 2 on our army key. We're going to make overlord speed. We're going to try and kill those. Let's put some spores up here as well. And we're just making Hydras lurkers from here. That's all we want to make.
Metamorphosis. A creature is under attack.
Okay, so notice I'm just blinding clouding. And I'm not dropping them all once. Oh, we need parasitic bomb. So I'm going to drop fungal as well. And we're going to unburrow our lurkers and try to move them over. Our drones are going to run back. And we've got one more blinding cloud here, guys. Going to try and make some more vipers. I think we can take those out because it's just a few of them on their own. If you spread your guys out, you can always crush lurkers on their own in small numbers. So that there, it's all, we're basically playing like, this is Turtle Zerg. This is, you know when a Terran sits there and refuses to leave, that's what we're doing, guys. So we're just going to keep building spores and spines across our base. Okay.
Metamorphosis complete. Our forces are under attack.
Okay. I'm trying to play slow, but I don't know, man. I feel like I'm playing the mechanics I'm using, the instincts are still too advanced, even with what I'm doing here. Alright, we're A-moving our whole army there. Looks like we cleaned things up.
The hive cluster is under attack.
This is sick play. I have a lot of blinding clouds. So this is why I built extra vipers, guys, because I knew blinding clouds would be the only way I could deal with the superior lurker count that he had. As you can see, it seems to be working out, but I need to fix my economy. So you just want to keep going. Spores, spines, lurkers, spores, spines, lurkers. As long as your vipers have energy, that's good. And the thing is, if you don't want to use your own... Oh. Get rid of that. If you don't want to use your own lurkers, if you have enough vipers, it's kind of okay. I have one infestor here as well as my queens. Hopefully they can defend that side from ring run buys. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I think I desperately need more fighting units. So we're just going to make more Hydras, more lurkers. We'll make a bunch of lurkers. I think at this point, we want to try and get some changelings. So notice we're just going to do what I call the scatter vision, which is just put units all over the map. So using the deselecting, just some nice scatter vision. Oh, this is a very good Baneling run by. Oh, it killed a lot of drones. So we just rebuilt all those drones. We're still at 72, guys. Okay, so what am I doing, guys? I am removing these lurkers from my hotkey. I'm dumping them. Each time I make them like this, I'm dumping them. So we're leaving. These guys are going to come down. We'll just leave one there. You guys go back to minerals. Come back to the side. And we're going to move down here, make the lurkers, and this time we're going to use ducks. Okay, let's try and get these lurkers.
The hive cluster is under attack.
Punish this army, catch him good. That side should be fine, but it looks like by the time the lurkers killed all the lings, he had killed the entire economy. So these Hydras don't have move speed. That's why they feel so awkward. Okay. Okay, so these guys are still on my hotkey. Oh! Oh my god, that was so lucky that those Hydras were there. Holy shit. Alright guys, that's another one. Alt 0, remember? Dump, dump, dump. take a big dump. That's the rule of StarCraft. Gotta always take your big dumps. Trying to rebuild the drones for this base. We've got a lot of idle workers that can go there as well, so put those on gas. And I'm still dumping these, like 2 lurkers. That should be a little bit better. A few more spores, a few more lurkers. I'll leave an overseer there. Let's make another overseer to go with. So your Vipers need an overseer. Your main army has still 2 overseers, so they should be okay. More spores, because they allow you to kill enemy Vipers and stuff like that incoming, as well as everything else. We'll make +2 range, +3 range as well. You see my supply is what, a lot of people, you could describe that as dog shit, but, you know, we'll do what we will. Don't know what's up there. I think it was just Zerglings. I saw some red dot there. So this is obviously a game which we should have lost, and we're going to be breaking down in detail why we lost this game. Because this was a really cool style our opponent did. Very greedy, straight into mass upgraded Zerglings, and it requires a specific response. Let's take this base, 5th base. Okay, more Hydras, more Lurkers, more Vipers. You don't need any units other than this, guys. Let's get Carapace +3 as well to go with our range +3. And if we can max out, we can absolutely do it, right? So we've got Lurkers there. We've got a Lurker here, which will move up to that side. We'll move these Spore Crawlers forward. And you're kind of just moving this spread of Lurkers and Spores around the map, right? That's like a lot of what you're doing. And remember, Alt 0, I just keep stealing these Lurkers onto 0. And I'm making a lot more Lurkers to try to make sure we're okay. We've still got 5 Vipers here, which is awesome. I'm only on 52 drones, so I'm going to try to saturate this 5th base, even though it's very expensive. And we're also just going, hey, where's your composition? Are you still building Lurkers? Shout out to Please Help, by the way. This is insanely good play for Diamond 2. Like, I really feel this player has a cool plan and bloody action-packed crazy play as well. Let's build some spines here. Another spine there as well. Just really making sure we get a bit of static every...
The hive cluster is under attack.
What? Alright, so I'm just gonna A-move my Hydras over here to deal with this, guys. And then move them up to the edge. And all we need here is Spore Crawlers kill Broodlords pretty easily, so just make sure he can't get away with the abduct. Alright, it's trying to run Banelings in, but the Lurker Spore spread, remember those guys aren't on our control group for a reason. And there we go, yeah, we defended it pretty well. Alright. Fucking... Just the Broodlord harass is so funny, man. That was real troll shit. I like it. Oh, I like it. Oh, alright. Alright, let's spread some changelings, try to get some info. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try and see if we can do a little bit of lurker harass. Just one lurker. Once again, Alt 0, and see if I can stab in between, because I want to get on the tech. So those lurkers can hopefully distract, and then we can get in with like the tech. I'm gonna make a few more overseers, add them to my army key. And these ones I'm Alt 0ing and just following random different lurkers as well. Alright guys, check it out. Oh, it's Mass Lane? Wait, did he not rebuild his lurkers? Oh, huge moves. Alright, we just got his army rotating, trying to defend that left side, which is of course massive. Alright. Just don't throw all your overseers away, Pig. Oh, Jesus. Pull the overseers back. I think this should be enough to take this base out, right? There are lurkers there. But he doesn't have the best detection, so I think that'll take it out. Yeah, he doesn't have detection in range, so they're going to be a big problem. Alright, I'll rebuild the drones to this base. Oh god! Oh, he broke my position. Blinding Clouds. Oh! So we just use Blinding Clouds usually, guys. Try to focus on getting good at one spell rather than overcomplicating it. And in general, I never play a... You are god. GG, well played, mate. I had to pull out a lot of GM knowledge. This one, very nice ling build, dude.
Field depleted.
Oh my god, they're really well done. What an absolute badass. Go Ultra instead of Lurker ammo. You did great with the Lurkers and should have won. But if you go Ultra with just 2 Vipers for Blinding Cloud. Also, Ling drop main base in late game. Drop 5 OVs, 40 Lings. Kills everything so fast. So sick. DRG beat Cyril with it at Katowice. DRG beat Cyril. He sniped his hive just before it finished with that move, so Cyril couldn't make his lurker upgrades or vipers. It was game ending. It was so disgusting. Please help us a Chad. What a legend. Are they legit Diamond 2? That felt like at least like Diamond 1, but obviously they had map control and it's a style where you can kind of run away with the game. But bloody beast. Absolute beast, dude. Really, really well played. I know some people are like, oh, he's probably smurfing or something. I don't think so. I think it's just a really cool build. Yeah, he's been Diamond 1 before. He's back into Diamond 2 range, but like kind of on the upper echelon. Awesome game. All right, so let's go back and talk a little bit about that, guys. Okay, so this was a really interesting opening, guys, because we saw the double Evo chamber. We knew that our opponent was very defensive and we could have been a lot greedier. Now, first things first, this spawning pool timing very much confused me. It was just a 16 pool. I don't know why it felt so early. I think it's just because I'm not used to, I guess I just haven't really calibrated my timings, but this is a normal 14 drone scout, guys. And if the spawning pool is not finished, then don't worry, it's not a 12 pool, right? The spawning pool will already be finished if it's a 12 pool. That's the rule. Commit that to memory, because 12 pool starts at about 18 seconds in the game. I think it's 18. Takes 46 seconds to build, I believe, for a spawning pool. Yeah, which means it'll obviously be done by a minute 10. We get in here at about a minute 13. So I just kind of confused myself a little bit at the start. It didn't change anything in how I played. Didn't really matter. I only built 2 Lings extra to deal with his, so not a big deal. And I actually killed 2 drones with my Ling counter, so I was in a really good spot in this opening. Now, the only argument here is that we could have made a better reaction here. So, I see an Evo chamber, guys. Evo chamber means any attack isn't going to come for at least a couple minutes because it's a big investment in upgrades, and especially seeing the second Evo. So, after shift clicking these drones, I should have been a little bit greedier at home. And I said, oh, I could delay my wall, but I don't really need to. What's more important, I should have cancelled the spine crawler. Would have been absolutely massive. Saving that spine, 1 extra drone mining this whole early game would have been really great. So that's a great way you can adapt. If you see a big sign of greed, you might be like, oh, but he doesn't have a third. Yeah, but 2 upgrade structures means there might be a big timing, but it's about 3 minutes from now, right? Because how long does an upgrade take, guys? 2 minutes to upgrade plus the Evo chamber time. So at least 5 minutes 30 onwards is when we've got to worry about that. Now, because I knew he was going double upgrades, I should have known, well, upgraded Lings is pretty likely off this, right? He could be going Roach, but it's kind of weird. Why wouldn't he wall off at the front? In general, you know, it's rare to have such fast Evo chambers like that. And even if he did, so I could have countered it by getting my own quick carapace upgrade. Would have been a good way to counteract the melee upgrades. Is it necessary? No, not at all. Big mistake I made also was, remember my 3rd gas was late. So we meant to start that with the lair, but that started pretty late. And then I apparently didn't start +1 range. I forgot +1. Wait, what? I completely forgot to start +1 range? When do I make range in this game? I didn't even notice. Oh my god. Ah! We're meant to make +1 range. Now, obviously, it doesn't actually matter because he's got carapace and that cancels +1 range out. But this was really good early defense initially. Now, I could have just kept on making roaches. You're going to notice, because I built the Evo chamber there, the 3rd hatchery, and the 4th gas, I'm actually a bit lower on drones than I should be. So I was already a little bit lower on drones than I should be, which means I really should be trying to commit hard to a big roach attack against my opponent. But because I know he's got mass Ling out here, I'm focused more on just defending and surviving for now. So there's a few things you can do here. Once you identify, and at this point we know it's mass circling, right? There's a few things. We can either go greedy and just super totally and defensive, or we can go all in. We don't really want to get caught in the middle ground like I did this game. So the decision-making tree at this stage of the game should be ZvZ versus mass lings, mass upgraded ling, right? We want to either be highly aggressive or highly defensive. Don't get caught in the middle like I did this game. So if aggressive, add a Bane Nest and 10 Banes to your army for ridiculous anti-ling
My man.
destruction. You can add even more Lings and Banes for busting walls and, well, busting spine crawlers. If they're relying on that, right? That's pretty sick. That's actually pretty sick. So what if I added a Baneling Nest, I could have just ran in and blown up the Lings that were blocking me, blown up half the spine crawlers, and won the game with Roach Baneling. Or, so if aggressive, right? What about the defensive one, though? And I was a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I want to go there because it drags on. So you want to go extra queens if they're going mutas. Otherwise, just roaches split around your base. A bunch of roaches left in your choke point on a separate group. Control group or no control group, so they can't get in no matter what. And then just drone up your third base. Just upgrading. Focus on carapace upgrades. You can get both, but carapace is key. Super effective against Zerglings. And then you can basically either go for a 3-base Roach Hydra is an option. Or go to Hive, Lurkers, Vipers, 4th base, and win with Hydra, Lurker, Viper in the late game. So you can see the simpler option there is the 3-base Roach Hydra. That's going to be what most people opt for. Get the economic advantage, defend well, 66 drones. Okay, let's hit with 2-2 Roach Hydra, right? So that's a nice simpler option. Be careful of Banelings. So what do you want to do? You want to spread Hydras, roaches in front, blocking them. Careful of flanks. You know, you might need some roaches to pull back and intercept a flank of Banelings coming in. All that sort of stuff could happen as well. And obviously it all depends what they're following the mass Zergling up with as well. But yeah, you don't really need to add Banelings in with that style unless they're literally doing nothing but massing Zerglings. If they don't transition off massling, then add Banes too. But you don't want to be adding Banelings while defending, because roaches should be able to defend on their own, right? And you're like, oh, why not? But then you can go attack them. Yeah, but what if they're up to mutas, but they're up to the next step, and you're like, I'm on Roach Bane now, and they're like, well, I'm going to ultras. Baneling's obviously not good versus ultras, so it's kind of like dependent on the situation a little bit there. That was a really cool last game though. That was kind of crazy, guys. What do you guys think, by the way? If I just shoved with the roaches hard the first time, do you think I could have killed him? Do you think I pussied out? Do you think I should have just fucking been a mad lad and gone for it, bro? I think I should have. I think if I ran in here, it's only 8 spines, and that is 24 plus... That's 29 roaches. I don't have +1, which is kind of shit. I thought I was starting +2 range and +1 carapace at this point, for those who don't know. I was convinced that I was. But yeah, I was like, cool, we've got 8 roaches to defend, that should be fine. And then I go back to droning like a greedy idiot. Now, if you're in this sort of position, guys, always get those roaches and hold position them like there. Maybe hold position a roach in the mineral line. That sort of stuff. It can be massive. It can be absolutely massive. But really good run by for Please Help, dude. And then he's going mutas, He's got the spines here as well. And now that I've let him get Lings out to help buffer, and he's got transfusers going down, like, Please Help played like a god. This was really cool. Really good play by Please Help. I'm impressed. But yeah, because I lose a whole bunch of drones and the third base, that's what's so bad about this situation. You might say, oh, third's not dead, but he comes in and just taps it with these meters. Luckily, we do get the spores up, so we don't, like, lose control of the area. Then I have to throw away a ton of roaches. Luckily, I keep it 2-base versus 2-base for a while, so I make it kind of playable as an accident, of course. And then we had to swap into the kind of late-game turtle mode, whereas I would have much preferred to just be like, okay, we just turtle up, we do big 3-base roach hydra timing. So I made this game more complicated for myself by not adding banelings and going hard with the mass roach. And I also underestimated the Ling Run buys, which I shouldn't do because I actually love upgraded Zergling styles. Please Help's build was beautiful. Really cool build order. And had a macro hatch up in the main as well, getting injected, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah, very well played. The mutas probably could have circled in and hit from here and here a little bit more as well. But there was like a Baneling run by on this third base. Like there was so many cool little moves that really impressed me about Please Help. Just making Banes, clicking him in there. I guess this was much later that happened. Still. I was under a lot of pressure. Roach run by, got a few drones, distracted him for a moment. Yeah. And those 5 Vipers saved my bacon because he was into mass lurker in a big way. Looks like he forgot his lurker upgrades though, so here's another big mistake. He went melee adrenal glands and hydras and lurkers at the same time. Whereas if he was just committing a bit more to like one thing for a little bit, it would have been better. Then again, if he was just pairing up mass Ling run bys into the main and the natural while attacking with lurkers and harassing with like lurkers down here, probably would have ruined my day, right? Probably would have ruined my day. This was really bloody good games, man. Really good, bloody good play from Please Help. But the Vipers are such a big comeback play, right? They're such a big comeback unit. I should have dropped a parasitic bomb on the mutas a bit earlier. I was so focused on the lurkers and just kind of surviving. And you'll notice I dropped 1 fungal there. And that, of course, plus the parasitic bomb does devastating damage. But very well, if I was using all of my APM, I would have bungled everything up a lot quicker and a lot more frequently. But that was a huge, huge hold there. And the spellcasters in general are just game changers. So his job would have been, yeah, if he was hitting this side with a few lurkers and hydras and dropping the main, or just hitting with a mass Ling run by at the same time as that, you know, it'd be a very different game. As it is, like, anytime these Lings ran in, they actually got crazy damage. Adrenal Gland plus 3 Zerglings are wild. Like, here he split some in the main and the natural, and he got so much damage here. And this is where I really feel I cheated in terms of my reaction speed. Because it's not even the speed, it's the organization, the wherewithal to do all the drone pulls. I think anyone actually in Diamond 2 loses another 30 drones to all of this multiple. And these moves were splendid. Because it was just like, I'm going to throw enough shit at you that you can't deal with all this correctly. And I dealt with it correctly. And that's what ended up really inefficient for Please Help. But you can see how most players probably would have just died there. Now, Please Help still would have beat me if they're up on 80 drones. If they built another 20 drones here, they're up on 80 drones, 90 drones, they could just keep doing this all day, and I would probably eventually lose. The big lurker shoves, maybe not as much, but it's the Ling run bys that are getting crazy value. Should you have an Overlord up here? He has mutas, so no. Yeah, the mutas have cleared the vision out. So you end up in a bit of a box vision-wise once the mutas are out. At this point, I should spread some more Overlords around because he lost them. But he does have Hydras as well. Bloody sick play by him, man. Oh, that was when the Banelings just came in. Cleared that whole mineral line. 4 Waddly boys. Right after I'd said, hopefully these Queens and Infesta can defend anything that comes. Ouch. Meow. Meow. Ow, 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 ow. GG, well played. Alright guys, hope you enjoy the change of outfit. Hopefully Bronze GM Diamond 2 has helped you all out. As always, post your questions in the comments. We'll answer all those and hopefully follow up with any of the really interesting ones at the start of the next episode as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.